getting ready to come.
And hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I am the Lord.
Last words, brother.
Shalom, ma.
All right.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
All right. Shabbat shalom, Yashua.
Shabbat shalom.
I want to wish everybody a blessed Shabbat. And this is always a blessing because each Shabbat that we participate in and that we keep faithfully brings us even closer and closer to the day of our redemption. Be faithful, blessed, because this Shabbat was only given to Israel and none other nation. You can believe that. And we can fact check that with Jubilees chapter 2, verses 30 through 32. Nothing like it. Nothing like it, Israel. Right. So y'all know the title. We gotta have a pretty head buster tonight. We got a lot to cover, so just bear with us and everything. Hard-headed and rebellious. Yeah, y'all already know where we're going with this because dealing with our people. You have a brother want to catch a case, and even Moshe, boy, goodness, whew, well, I don't know how you do it, brother, but man, it's a hard case. Hey, so just want to put out a couple of things. Do not forget, for those of you who follow the Enoch calendar, you all know that, and remind me, brother, too, before we get off the air tonight, to pull that calendar up, so we can just remind everybody of the day of atonement coming up.
That's right.
It's Tuesday, so sunset Monday. Put it on your calendars. All day Tuesday to sunset Tuesday is going to be the Day of Atonement, and that's going to be a huge one for us because that is going to be a day of fasting and afflicting your soul. So
make sure you put that put that notch down. Understand it happens at sundown, right? That's what's going to go down. It's on the Israelite calendar. The Israelite calendar that has all the correct days according to the scriptures on there.
Yep.
So make sure you get that stuff lined up, so we can all, be fasting and praying together.
That's right. And it's nothing like that. There's nothing like, having that togetherness. So once we have everybody on and after the lesson, before we check out, we're going to bring the calendar. I won't forget. We'll bring the calendar up so we can just remind everybody and everything. So, because that's going to be important. Like Brother Aton was saying, when you get like 200, 500 people praying for the same thing, I mean, that's power right there. So I see that y'all hear us loud and clear.
That's right.
They know how we get down. So yeah, they already know. So we know that we don't have to do the sound check and everything.
All praises.
Yeah. All right, Israel. So before we get into the scriptures, and you know how we like to do it, we go straight into the word of the Most High. So y'all know, those of you who've been on board with us know why we're doing this 7-year war against harlots, Jezebels, and henpecked mama baby boys, and this is something that's much needed. And because of that, I'm seeing a lot of brothers. I'm seeing a lot of, even Brother Aton, I mean, brothers coming out the woodworks. Hey, even sisters are coming out and standing up against that crazy mess, all that wickedness. So, give shout outs to those brothers that are rising up and that are joining the ranks and speaking out and joining in with this 7-year war campaign. And that just lets us know that the spirit is moving. And we're sick of it. We're tired as a people because we're tired of keep getting our backs beat in by these heathens. And we keep, we're tired of being delayed here all this time.
Now, not the whole nation of Israel. We're just talking about the people that's in the faith, because it seems like the rest of the nation, they like getting their teeth kicked in. They like knees on their neck. They like getting arrested, getting locked up by the heathen. They like doing football numbers in jail. Man, they like this stuff. So, we're just talking about, our people, the ones that are in the truth, your real brothers and sisters. The real brothers and sisters are what? Are the ones that keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua. It's not a game.
Mm-hmm. Because the ones who don't want to keep the commandments are the ones that want to follow their enemies. They're the ones that want to continue to keep them holidays and bow down and everything. It's crazy. All right, so let's go ahead and get in it. We're gonna. I want to start off with Isaiah chapter 1, and this is a scripture that you all know too well, but it's something I want to bring out. And then Brother Aton got a few things for us. So let's start off with this. Let's start off with verse 3. It says, "The ox knows his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Yasharel does not know. My people do not even consider." And every time I read that, I get paused because it's like our people don't even care. And like Brother Aton was saying, like, a lot of our people who are outside the truth, they just, and I know a lot of our people are slowly waking up in their own time and everything. But it's like when you try to talk to family members, and y'all know what I'm talking about, it's like they don't even care, And it's like throwing pearls to the swine.
Facts.
Because, and I don't know about y'all, but I used to help raise hogs when I was growing up. When I spent my summers growing up in Mississippi, and no matter how nice you treat a hog, and everything will turn on you in a second. You can feed that thing day and night, and it will turn on you. So now I know why Hamashiach said, "Do not cast your pearls to swine, lest they turn against you and rend you." And that's just how hard-headed and stiff-necked our people is. All right, let's look at verse 4. It says,
didn't you deal with a hog one time on the farm that sucker tried to chase after you in it? You had to hit him upside the head with a shovel?
Yeah. So I was feeding one day, and this is like after a whole couple of weeks of feeding that thing. And I thought that thing was my best friend. And that joker, I don't know what happened, but that joker tried to attack me, and he snorted at me, and he tried to bite me, so I had to hit him upside the head with a shovel. And that didn't really work because he just looked at me and everything. But that just, them things will turn on you in a heartbeat.
They're ungrateful.
Right,
They're ungrateful.
Yeah, ungrateful. This is, it's just like our people, ungrateful.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a mouthful to say tonight because our people. Oh man, it says, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity. And when you think about iniquity, that's that in-depth, that's that secret, that's that lustful lasciviousness sin. It says a seed of evildoers. So that means that there's a seed. It's talking about a generation of our people who are repeating the same things over and over, after generation after generation after generation. It says children that are corrupters. What does it mean that are corrupters? Now we've been getting on. We've been talking about the harlots, that rightly so, because it's getting worse. And when you look at that, you're having all these babies by different dudes and stuff. Children that are corrupters. And what are you producing? When you producing that kind of stuff with no man in the home. It says they have forsaken. Yeah, go ahead.
Right there in the beginning, it said a sinful nation, that people laden with iniquity. Do y'all know what the word laden means? Right? The word laden means heavily loaded or weighed down. You know what I mean? So that means like we are stacked up. You know what I'm saying? And we shouldn't be laden with iniquity because we have the opportunity to cleanse the plate with grace. Yeah, this is just so damn. I mean, like this is a shame. Go ahead, Oxalaki. Just wanted to bring that out.
And on that note, man, our people, when they talk about laden, I mean that's an understatement compared to what we're talking about now in this generation, man. And it's funny because I was listening to a brother, and they were discussing. He was discussing about the feminist movement, and he was saying that by the age, and they had stuff to prove it and everything. By the age, by the time a woman makes by the age of 19 or 18, their body count is up by 50. And I'm like, man, that's a lot, y'all. That's a lot. So that tells you, man, that our people have been so conditioned, man, to even lose their virginity at such a young age, and it's like a repeated process. So when you read that word laden with iniquity, man, that fits our people. It's seed of.
We're gonna bring something out too that a brother had shared with us dealing with this, this damn sexual liberation that's just laden with iniquity. All right, proceed on up.
Yep, it's crazy. Children that are corrupt, they have forsaken Yahweh. They have provoked the Holy One of Yasharel unto anger. They are gone away backwards. So in other words, man, our people are so damn wicked that even wickedness itself doesn't even want to be associated with our people. That's wicked, man. And you, oh, man. And so, you know, and so in laying the base for this lesson, we're going to be dealing with, we're going to be dealing with, you know, our stubborn people, you know, the men and the women as well. So we're not going to leave no stone unturned. And we're going to, you know, like always, you know, we come straight from the scriptures and we show you the facts, and we're going to show you examples of what our people had to deal with and go through. All right, brother, take it away.
Oh, God. Well, let me see. Well, you know, just like the brother was saying, before I get off on Moses, right? Because I wanted to bring out a little something on Moses, because that would be a good thing to talk about, especially you know, so just concerning, man, how wicked and stubborn our people is, all right? But before I do that, I wanted to share a little something with you guys, right? This is our brother Adam Jr., man. He had shared a little something with us that, you know, I want to go ahead and you know, share this with the rest of y'all real quick. Let me open up this tab. And
and shout out, and you know what, and shout out to brother Adam Jr., because he's been rocking with us, you know, from the beginning. So you know, and you know, he gets a lot of information, and you know, sometimes he shares that with us so we can bring it out and everything. So
let me assume that. Can y'all see that right there? Give me a 1 in the chat if y'all can see that. All right, give me a 1 in the chat if y'all can see that.
I can see it on my end. Clear.
All right, Con, all praises. All right, all praises. All right. You know, stubbornness, right? You know, so the stubbornness of our people, Con, all praises, right? The stubbornness of our people that always ends up, you know, man, we can't do the same thing that the heathen does. You gotta understand, right? And I'm gonna show you when we get down to Moses, that the Most High, he's going to make sure that we get the most punishment, because guess what? You know, when you are a, you know, let's say, for example, you're at the playground, right? You got your kids out there, you know, and y'all out there, you know, saying at the park, and you're playing with your kids, right? But then you see another kid right there, and then, you know, he's acting like a total degenerate. Right? They're acting up, they're going crazy, right? Are you going to go over there and spank that kid? Nah, you ain't gonna go spank that kid. You know what I mean? You're gonna let that kid do what he wants to do, right? And whatever, you know, befalls him, whether his parents get him or not, you know, that's what's going to happen, right? But if you see your kid out there, right, acting like a damn heathen, what are you gonna do? Right? You're gonna go out there, you're gonna snatch him up, right? Give him a spanking, right? Because you know that type of behavior from your bloodline should not be tolerated, right? That's the same thing that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai sees when our people are being wicked as hell, right? Well, if we're out there doing whatever the hell we want to do, we know that the Lord is going to do what? He's going to come down on our people first. This is why we're always in the news. This is why we're always getting shot down in the streets, run over by police cars, choked to death, tarred and feathered, hang on trees, all this kinds of wickedness, even in slavery for hundreds of years. The reason being is because our people, right? Our people are the Lord's people, and that's why we have to continue getting this work. Yeah. Right? And first
Peter, it said, what does it say? It says that judgment will begin at the house of Yahweh. Now, the Most High don't care about these other nations, as it says in 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and also Isaiah 40. He does not care about these other nations. That's not his concern. His concern is us. So when you look at us and it seems like, man, we're just being punished and punished and punished. You got to understand the level of wickedness that it's going to take, you know, for the Most High to really have to come down hard on us because of that. You know, look how long they wandered in the wilderness. You know, it was only an 11-day journey, 11 days, y'all. But it took 40 years, so the Most High had to cleanse out all that wickedness. You know, and it's no difference today. You know, and our people have gone so far backwards. We want to compare it to the 50s.
All right, let me see here. Right, so we have a report here. It says reported STDs, which are sexually transmitted diseases, reach an all-time high for the sixth. Notice it says for the sixth consecutive year. Right, more than 2.5 million cases of chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis reported in 2019. Now let's go on down, right? Because you know they're gonna have something to say about our people, right? But let's read a couple of these things first. It said new data published by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, showed that reported annual cases of sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, in the United States continued to climb in 2019, reaching an all-time high for the sixth consecutive year, right? Now, we're going to go now. This is 2019. So what do you think happened in 2022? Now, this is only a report from me. I got other reports too, right? Thanks to brother Adam, that, this stuff is getting bad. It says the newly released 2019 STD surveillance report found that 2.5 million reported cases of chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, the three most commonly reported STDs in 2019, right? That's 2.5 million folks, right? And it says nearly 30% increase in these reportable STDs between 2015 and 2019, right? The sharpest increase was in cases of syphilis among newborns. Damn, right? Congenital syphilis, which was nearly quadrupled between 2015 and 2019. Now, before I go on, right? What is the cause? What is the root cause of these things, right? The root cause of this, like we always talk about, right? Because we know that, there's not a back of days in the scriptures where there's, a man could just find you and then, he could just take you and then, then he can never divorce you and you're his wife, right? You know what I mean? Like this is because, right? Number one, right? The first and foremost, I'll say, right? That the sisters don't know how to keep their legs closed. They just giving it up to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's out there, right? That is the first thing, because the woman, she does what? She is the one that decides if she's going to live with the man or not. The man is not going to go over there and try to, use the R word on her. You know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I'm saying? That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are some cases, but they're very small and few in between, right? But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the majority, right? And the majority is not damn 2.5 million reported cases, right? So, like, we got to look at this stuff, right? The amount of fornication that is going on amongst our people, right? That means we're not getting married. We're not getting married. What we're doing, we're out there fornicating, finding 4 or 5 different partners. And we're doing what? We're spreading around sexual disease because we're doing what? We're not keeping the commandments. Yep. We're not keeping the commandments.
And then it doesn't help, because when you got your Cardi B's who is not Israel, you got your Stallions out there, you got your little Kims, you know what I'm saying? They're exalting whoredom to a whole new level, and this is the stuff that they're pushing out and everything. So, we're talking about a generation who don't even give a damn. They just want to get it when they can get it. Give it away for free. Being a virgin is a sin to these to our sisters, and they got to break that virginity as soon as they can. And by the time they hit 18, they don't had a lot of them done had a body count of 50. And to take on a woman that's been humbled 50 times at that kind of age, that's sad.
No, right. On to the men. You brothers, right? You have just right. Okay, true, right. The price of vaginas at an all-time low, right? But you brothers, like, when has anything cheap been good, right? When has anything cheap and freely given away been good for you? It's not, right? We gotta strive for excellence again as men, right? As men, like if you see a woman, that she got 20 bodies, man, or even 5 for that matter, right? You don't deal with that woman, right? You know what I'm saying? Let this be a trend for the brothers that keep the law, statutes, and commandments, even for if you can spread this knowledge to the brothers that don't, to put a stop to this wickedness, right? You know what I'm saying? We gotta let these females know. Hold up, right? They gotta let these females know that it's not okay to lay down with a bunch of men, and that some man out there is going to accept them. If some man continues to accept these women, they're never going to think what they're doing is wicked. Okay, Doc.
Yep. No. You said a key point. Sharing this stuff, man, because a lot of our brothers, man, they living in ignorance, and so many of our brothers are moving in with these women, and creating all kinds of problems and everything, because these beta male syndrome. And they're moving in with these women, and these women, getting upper hand, like, hey, I'm paying the rent, I'm this, I'm that, you can't tell me. And they have no respect for the brothers, and that's why we tell you brothers to stay away from that stuff. Stay away from women. The church don't. I would rather for you to get a tent somewhere, at a truck stop somewhere, sleep out there or something before you move in with another woman that's not your wife.
Now, like a lot of this stuff, like we gotta realize, right? You know, this is unclean spirits. All right, that's just basically what it is, right? You got things of this nature. Once they hop on you, right? You know what I'm saying? An unclean spirit can hop on you at any moment. You could be following the laws, statutes, and commandments at any time, but once you have that thought that pops inside your mind, because you gotta realize, right? Our minds are sponges, right? They're like antennas that pick up thoughts. You know what I'm saying? That pick up thoughts. For example, like let's say, for example, if you all of a sudden you know what your buddy is about to say, you know, all of a sudden, like, you know, 1, 2, 3 jinx, because y'all both said the same thing, or you're talking to someone and then you know exactly what they're going to say. You think that's an accident? No, that is not an accident, right? That's the latent ability of things that we had of old, right? That these thoughts are energy, right? Thoughts travel in waves, and our minds are able to pick up and decipher on that, right? You know, so just like the sound out of my voice, it travels in waves, and your ears are able to detect it, right? These wicked and these evil spirits, they will hop on you as soon as you feel that it's entering your brain, right? It's out there, the antenna, you're right, the antenna in your brain, it picks it up, some kind of evil thought. Now, if you entertain that evil thought, right, that spirit has hopped on you and he has a foothold in your mind, right? And then as you start thinking about it, start dreaming about it, coming up with different instances and scenarios that you can act out this wickedness. So what do you think that you're going to do? You're going to act out that wickedness, right?
And this is why a lot of sisters can have a beta male at home. They can be even married. They can be married, have a nice beta male at home, make sure that he's going to eat and everything, and can be out messing around because of their lust and their feelings and everything.
Oh, I don't want to show that yet. Okay, so let's get back on to the article. It says less than 20 years ago, gonorrhea rates in the United States were at historic lows, right? So this is around the year 2000, right? Right after that Y2K or whatever it was, right? Less than 20 years ago, right? Syphilis was close to elimination. And advances in chlamydia diagnostics made it easier to detect infections, said Raul Ramagura, right? DMD, MPH, acting director for CDC's Division of STD Prevention. That progress has since unrivaled, and our STD defenses are down. We must prioritize and focus our efforts to regain the lost ground and control the spread of STDs. Now, what we're going to see here, right, Israel, on the more we read on, and I know you see down here where it says the STD burden is not equal. Now, we're going to see who is doing the most wickedness. Now, remember, in the United States alone, we only have 41 million Israelites, right? 41 million Israelites among 253 million heathens, right? 253 million heathens amongst the 41 million children of God, right? Now, should the children of God be committing more wickedness than damn near, what was that? 7 times the number of damn heathen? No, right? So let's see, right? It says STDs can have serious health consequences. People with these infections, you know what I'm saying? People with these infections do not always experience disease symptoms, but if left untreated, some can increase the risk of HIV infection or have chronic pelvic pain. Can cause chronic pelvic pain, pelvic inflammatory diseases, infertility, severe pregnancy, and newborn complications and infant death, right? So, you know, these women that complain about, I should be able to abort my babies because you could die, have severe pregnancy. No, you know what I'm saying? If you keep your legs closed, right, and only have one man in your life, you don't got to worry about all these different kind of infections that can cause you to die during pregnancy, right? You know what I'm saying? This stuff is all fundamental, right? The Most High, he has a law, right? You know what I'm saying? He has a, he has a style for us, right? He has a laws, statutes, and commandments, and he has a way for us to follow, right? So, let me bring this. So it says, the STD burden is not equal, right? The burden of STDs increased overall and across many groups in 2019, but it continued to hit racial and ethnic minority groups, gay and bisexual men, and the youth the hardest, right? In 2019, look at this. Look at this shit, right? In 2019, STD rates, right, for Israelites, right? I don't know about this African American or black people. You see how they try to get you with this wordage. You know, this different word, African American. What in the world? Man, you can't ask a single black man in America, a single Israelite man, what African tribe he came from. This is just wickedness. But you know, but besides that, right? Or black, you're not a damn color in the crayon box. Right? You know, for Israelites, right? For Israelite people, were 5 to 8 times that of non-Hispanic white people. Damn. 5 to 8 times. Man, we beating out the heathen 5 to 8 times. How is that possible? How is that? Man, that's the number one on the list. Second, you got Indians, and there's barely any of them left over here, right? And then you got these influx of all these border jumpers, right? Look at that. They at the bottom, but then they got houses like, you know, they got 10 people to a damn house. Man, they're probably more than we are right now in America. But here we are at the top of the list. Because what? The Israelite man wants to go with low-value women, and the Israelite women don't know how to keep their legs closed. This is a pandemic that is so far beyond anything that we've seen before. Well, I won't say anything we've seen before because, you know, we've dealt with this before in the past. You know, our forefathers, when the Most High had to send plagues and to kill people when we were messing with the Moabites. And this stuff is just wickedness.
Yeah, it's just more inflamed. And see, you know, as he's going through this article and everything, a couple of things that really stand out is that you got to ask yourself, you know, cause and effect. Look, there was a reason why the Most High put in place the laws, commandments, and statutes, so that we wouldn't have to go through this. And brother mentioned earlier about, you know, outdoing the heathen. See, and this is nothing new under the sun because, you know, we kept going into slavery. Why? Because we kept trying to be like our enemies. We were out doing them. We wanted to serve their gods and stuff. And that's why the Most High says, okay, you know what? I'm gonna deliver you into the very enemies that you're trying to worship. And that's the same thing he did with this nation. The same ones that we're trying to worship. He said he'll bring a nation mighty far and wide. And that's what's happening, y'all. And you know, we've had every chance to self-correct ourselves. We've had every chance to study this word and to keep these commandments. We had all that chance. And I'm talking about my forefathers from 8 decades ago. But we keep wanting to be like our enemies. And this is why. And see, and this is why when you read these stats right here, and if you think that we're just reading if this is BS, then go fact check it with 3 other sources, and you'll see that it's saying the same exact thing. All right. Yeah. You can just, hey, look, you can go to the hood. You know, a lot of y'all might be from the hood. You can go to the hood and you'll see it firsthand.
Right now, hey, you can go ahead and get up that, you know what I'm saying, Leviticus, man, what mankind you shall abomination surely put to death. Pull that out real quick while I go over this next statistic. Right, so we got here. It says gay and bisexual men make up nearly half of all 2019 primary and secondary syphilis cases. Bam. Right. So, you know, if you some kind of man that's lying with mankind, right? The Most High don't like that. That's why half the cases are plagued with wickedness. Gonorrhea rates were up 42 times that of heterosexual men in some areas. 42 times. How does that even happen? Right? Go ahead. I'll bring that scripture out.
Well, it was Leviticus 21, right?
Come on.
Let's see.
Right. So, you know, why he's bringing that out, right? We gotta, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is only a small part, right? I'm not even worried about the whites, right? You know what I'm saying? Man, we shouldn't worry about the heathens, right? All right, you know what I'm saying? The heathens is not something that we should worry about. We know that they're trying to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, if you've been in the truth for a while, you know that we're the enemy to those folks, right? All other nations are enemies to Israel. They're not trying to look out for us, right? They want us to do bad. This is why they put these homosexual acts and all the children's programs that are you know, gained to our people, right? You know what I'm saying? They have all this fool talk that they got going on, you know, this him, her, pronouns and all this other fool stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? They got the woman king, a cast full of lesbian women. And this woman talking about you gotta show that the black women can lead the box offices. If you don't show up for this movie, you know, you're supposed to show up for the movie. Man, ain't nobody supporting your wicked ass.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody supporting that. Ain't no a woman king. And then, right, if you really want to look at it, you know what I'm saying, like, to be honest with you, right, this is how these heathens try to play us as a people, right? And you got so many sisters out there, because money is the root of all evil, right? That these sisters out there chasing the bag so hard that they're willing to accept roles, right? And they're so ignorant that, you know, that they rewrote the hell out of that story. That was actually about, this story is truly about those Africans, right, trapping Israelites and selling them to the heathen. That's what the story is truly about. It ain't got nothing to do with no damn woman king, right? Mm-hmm. It's got something to do with the Africans trapping Israelites and selling them to the heathen. And you're so stupid is that you got Israelites playing the part of their oppressor, and they so happy about it because it's some womanized feminist movement. This stuff is beyond wickedness.
So there's several. So I'm gonna start at the beginning. This feel free to come in whenever you want.
Come.
I'm gonna start at the beginning of Leviticus 21.
Go ahead,
Yep, and it says, and hold on, let me make sure I can see that there. All right, so we're in Leviticus 21. I'm gonna start with verse 1.
Get Leviticus 18 too, because that's
yeah, I'll get that one too.
Okay,
I want to bring something out in this one. All right. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, speak unto the priest, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them, there shall none be defiled for the dead among his people. Verse 2, for his kin that is near unto you, that is for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and for his brother. Verse 3, and for his sister a virgin that is nigh unto him, which hath no husband, for her may be defiled. Verse 4, but he shall not defile himself, being a chief man among his people, and profane himself. Verse 5, they shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. All right, 6, they shall be holy unto their God, and not profane the name of their God, for the offering of the Lord made by fire, and the bread of their God they do offer. Therefore they shall be holy. Verse 7, and this is one I want to bring out. They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he is holy unto his God. And see, the Most High had a system set up for his people. Now let's go to Leviticus 18, unless you want to bring something out on that one.
No, hey man, get that back out there. Yeah, bring that back up there.
Hold on.
Because I wanted to point out something, right? That was very important. Right, you know where it says, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he is holy unto the Lord. Right? Mm-hmm. That means if you want to be holy, separate, right, without sin, without laden in sin, you cannot take another man's wife, period. If she's divorced, it's just like it says in the New Testament in Corinthians, the only time that marriage is over is when the husband dies.
Is dead.
So you as a woman cannot divorce a man and think you can find another man. That doesn't work like that. You can't have a baby with one man and think you can go out here and get a boyfriend or another man. Your ass is going to get burnt up in the lake of fire.
And so,
there's going to be no confusion.
And what's so sad about that now is that, so many of our women they're not just having babies by one man, but it's by multiple dudes. Now you have these kids that's growing up with different daddies. You know what kind of confusion that causes amongst the siblings? I mean, it's crazy. It's insane. I've never seen anything like this in my years. This is the worst. Growing up, most of my friends I grew up with had a father in the home or mother. Divorces were happening back then too, but it was nothing like you see now. Women's twerking their ass in the streets and everything, and showing their titties in front of everybody, and just acting a damn fool.
God, you gonna bring out Leviticus 18?
Yeah.
I'll get 20 then.
Okay.
I'll bring out Leviticus 20 and 13. Right. Okay. While the ox bringing that up, right? Well. A matter of fact, I'll let him go ahead and bring that up first, right? Before we go ahead and this, because this is
which particular one. Which particular one you want?
Give me 18:22.
Okay. All right. Here it is right here. Thou shalt not lie with mankind, as with womankind. It is an abomination.
That's right.
Now,
So
why do you think? Okay, we don't even got to. I mean, that's not even rocket scientist right there. That just takes it straight up. How the Most High made the anatomy of the body. He made the anatomy of the body so that the man could procreate through the woman.
God, that's right.
And
so
so
if you think about it,
when you go against the Most High's Torah, you know that is an unnatural thing, and that's why, you know, our people following these heathens talking about, oh well, I feel like my child is a girl in the boy's body, or vice versa. You know, what kind of mess is that? Where did that stuff come from? You know, that did not come from us. And this is why we were to stay completely the hell away from these heathen nations. Because they're the ones who's always pushing that stuff.
God.
You know, how the hell you gonna tell a child, a boy at the age of 4, that they're a woman, they're a girl in a boy's body, or vice versa? You know what I'm saying? These are children. They don't have no concept of that stuff.
God. Right. So 2 scriptures here, right? 2 scriptures here. First, I'm gonna deal with 13, and then I'm gonna skip back up to 10. Right. It says, if a man, this is Leviticus 20, right? Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 13. I hope y'all got your Bibles out, and right, y'all need to go ahead. If y'all haven't heard the scriptures before, which I'm sure you have, right? This should be marked down in your Bible. It says, if a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them, right? So what we have right now, we have a bad habit, right? You know what I'm saying? The sisters, right? The sisters have a bad habit of accepting these homosexuals, which are an abomination to God, right? Do you think that you're, you know what I'm saying? Like, for you to okay that stuff, did you know that you're just taking on that sin onto you, right? You know what I'm saying? The scriptures speak about, if you see somebody that's doing wicked, you don't say nothing, the blood is going to be on your hands, right? That means you're going to be cast with the same sin that they is, because you were too afraid, too much of a coward to rebuke it. That's why in the Old Testament, in the Levitical law, it says that if you were to come around your brother whispering, let's go do some wickedness, let's go serve other guys, that brother is supposed to jump on your neck, hit, and stab your ass to death to get you up out of here. You a cancer. Yeah. You are a cancer, and you're trying to take down the whole nation of Israel when the Lord has done all this beautiful blessings to our people, right? And then we're going to go over those blessings in a minute. You want to say something before I go on?
Yeah. I was you was talking about getting on your brothers, and we are our brother's keeper. And I'm going to give an example. Abraham's brother was wicked as hell. And that's why, when one of Abraham's brother was dying, he's like, hey, keep Lot, raise Lot for me and everything. Right. That was the Most High, because Abraham chose not to do the wickedness of his brothers, and worship the damn idols and stuff. So we have plenty of examples in the scriptures, in the text, in the Torah, that, to give us wisdom. We got to follow that, and that's why it's going to only be a remnant, and it's going to take somebody. It's going to take some brothers with a strong mind, strong spirit, who's willing to keep these commandments and everything to push this thing forward. Because so many of our brothers have gone soft, man, and this is why me and Brother Aton, we push this hard, because we want to see our brothers step back up. We want us, just because you have that beta male syndrome, that doesn't mean you have to stay that way. You gotta rise up, take your position. Hold these women accountable, and hold these brothers accountable.
It's tough, Brother Daniel. Brother Daniel said something very important there, right? Our men, right? Our men have been weakened, right? The whole nation have been weakened by this rebellious spirit by the Israelite women. They don't think they need a man. They want to not submit. They want to raise children up on their home, believing that a father is not needed in the home to instill good morals, discipline, and instruction. Right? They don't understand that. They think that they can do it by themselves, right? And in turn, what they do, they complain about the same men that they've raised up. You shouldn't have 40-year-old women out here chasing the same brothers that the 18 to 25-year-old women are out here chasing. That's wickedness, right? That's something wrong right there, right? The scriptures say, And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife. Now, in the scriptures, it also says that if you lay down with a woman, that is your wife. Not to mention if you have a child with her, right? Even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer, right? That's the man, and the adulteress, which is the woman, they shall surely be put to death. So, right? If you are a brother out there and you married to a baby mama, to a child that's not yours, nigga, you think you're getting the kingdom? I guarantee you, when you get to the gate, when you get to the judgment day, and when it's time for Hamashiach to ask, hey, Yahweh, right? You know what I'm saying? That Yahweh's going to ask Hamashiach if he knows you. Hey, son, do you know this dude right here? Right? Do you know this guy right here that's married to the baby mama? You know what Hamashiach going to say? He will say, I never knew you.
Mm-hmm.
Away from me, right? You're gonna cast your ass straight into the lake of fire. Straight.
You know what our people's problem is? Our people don't fear the Most High, and that's the problem. You don't fear the Most High. You don't respect the Most High. You know, you may say, oh, yeah, I want to obey and everything. No, you don't. No, you don't. You just looking for a man to come in, watch your kids, so you can continue doing your wickedness. Let me read right here, right quick, before we move on. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. It says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Read that again. Read that again. I don't think they heard you.
No, let me read that again right quick. It says, Ecclesiastes 8:11, it says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. You know what that's saying right there? That says no matter what the Most High says, no matter what it says in His Word, they're going to continue to do their wickedness. That means that they don't give a damn one iota of what the Torah says. Right. They're going to continue. It's set in their heart to do wickedness.
You know why, too? It's because, like, the law isn't, like, we're under grace right now. Grace does not mean that you don't have to keep the commandments. Mm-hmm. Just like I always say that, you know you got to pay, they give you a grace period to pay your house note, right? They give you a grace period to pay your mortgage. But if you don't pay the mortgage when the grace period is up, that don't mean that you don't got to pay the mortgage. That means they're giving you a little bit of extra time to get right so you can pay it.
Yeah.
But what happens when you don't pay it? They're going to snatch that house from you and they're going to kick you out in the streets. That's the exact same thing that the scripture is saying. Mm-hmm. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, right? It means that you think that you can marry a baby mama. You think that you can lay down with somebody else's wife that's been so-called divorced. And that just because immediately the Most High don't strike you down to death, that you think that you can just do it whatever. You think that you can continue in your wickedness as long as you can, but the Most High is going to destroy you. Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
And let me bring something out in that relates to that too. What I just read. So let's look at Romans 1:28. And I know y'all know where I'm going with this one. And let's start with verse 26. You know what? No. Let me go with 25. All right. So let's look at Romans 1:25. It says, "Who changed the truth of Yahweh into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the creator." You know where this is coming from? This is coming from Torah. This is quotes from Torah because this is what they did. This is what our people always did. All right.
Who's the creature, by the way? Just to break that down real quick, the creature is humans, right? The human beings are creatures, right? Y'all rather serve man instead of serve God.
Yeah. And that's what's happening. That's what we're seeing right now. For this cause, Yahweh gave them up. Y'all hear that? Yahweh gave them up unto vile affection. So that means because they don't like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, they don't want to keep the Torah. Most High says, "Okay, I'm gonna let you have the most vain thoughts and vile affections in your mind." And that's the worst place to sin is in your mind, because you know why? Because that's that sin that you try to hide from everybody else, but that's the sin that the Most High sees. And it says, "For this cause he gave up to vile affection, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature." You're talking about you want to change your gender because you feel like you feel like you a dude in a woman's body or vice versa. And likewise also the men leaving the natural use of the woman. We read that in in Leviticus 20 and 18, burned in their lust one towards one another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their errors which was met. And you know what's so crazy about this is because the heathens, they know that this is the kind of stuff that really ticks the Most High off. So they do everything in their power to get our people. See, they don't care about them doing it. You know, they're heathens. They're lost cause anyway. But when the heathens get our people to do it, that's their goal. Why do you think when you look at the rap game now these days, you look at all the symbols, you look at how the rap game has turned into something that is so wicked and defiled, like it's to a point of no return and everything. And all them boys, you know, they're getting popped in the butt. You know, it's just wickedness. It's just wickedness in that type of industry. And it says, verse 28, it says, and even as they did not like to retain Yahweh in their knowledge, look at this, Yahweh gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. Now, y'all gotta understand the system here. Now, we're looking at our people, period. You know, the brothers and the sisters and the wickedness that they're committing. That means that the Most High has turned them over to a reprobate mind. That means that even in their wickedness and in their vile affections, in their minds, they still believe that they are chosen, or they are special, and they're going to make it to the kingdom.
Let me ask you something, Israel. Right?
That's serious delusion.
Right. Let me ask you something, Israel. You see how brother said, you know, you're going to believe this and believe that, right? And you think that you're going to make it to the kingdom, right? There is no, if you read the scriptures, right, it's not a mystery on how you get sent to the lake of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know, just like, for example, adultery, right? If you read up in the scripture, right, you read on there, it plainly tells you that you're going to get put to death.
Yep.
Right? That's what it says. So if you die in that wickedness, you are not getting the kingdom. You understand? Like, there are sins that are greater than others, even though all sins are sin because it's sin, right? But some sins are weightier matters of the law, right? Whole weightier matters of the law, like adultery, right? What is that? Homosexuality, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are weightier matters of the law that, hey, the Most High ain't playing no games with that. You got to be destroyed. Because think about the mind frame that you have to be in, right? Think about this mind. You have totally just ignored all common sense, right? All the everything that the Most High has given, you have just ignored it all.
Yeah.
For what? For
and how do you think
100% wickedness?
Yeah, and how do you think the Most High communicates with his people? It is through the mind. Because think about it. Now, if you have all that stuff in your mind, you got all that wickedness in your mind, you can't even get on your knees and pray. It's impossible because light and darkness cannot exist in the same place. And so, you know, you got this lasciviousness on your mind, and you talking about trying to get on your knees and pray. You know, I guarantee you're not gonna be able to do it. You would not be able to do it.
That's right.
You know, and see, and this is why the sin in the mind is so dangerous, you know, because that's where everything starts at, you know. And you know, our people, when they start doing that, and the reason why it's so hard for a lot of our people to recover from that, because anytime you think some kind of wickedness thought and you lust on that thought and you meditate on that thought for so long, what you do is you burn this groove into your brain. And that's why even some people can't even fast and break that addiction, because the addiction is so strong, the lust is so strong and everything, because our people spent so many years in that stuff. I mean, this thing is serious, y'all, and that's why this is not something that you can change overnight. You know, you talking about, you know, you're gonna be ready, or you know, you think that you can just change overnight. Oh hell no, that's not gonna happen, because you've already built a pattern in your brain that is so strong towards the lust and to the lasciviousness. And you know, when I see my young sisters out here in this wickedness, and they're just going through dudes like wildfire, and being humble so many times like that, what do you think it does to the brain? It creates a mental ailment that is so strong that you know, to even recover from that is slim to none. That's how dangerous it is.
It's ridiculous. That's why it's really important to fast. Like, you know, we have a fast coming up next to Monday at sundown. Monday sundown to Tuesday sundown, right? We got what?
Monday sundown.
Yeah, Monday sundown to Tuesday sundown.
Yep.
Yeah, come. You know what I'm saying? Sundown Monday to Tuesday sundown, right? It begins the Day of Atonement, right? So you know we have a full right. So we have a full fasting day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, use days like this to try to ward off them evil spirits. You know, even if you're not used to fasting, hey, make this the year, right, that you start fasting something, right? And because these evil spirits are not easily tackled, you know what I mean? They're not easily tackled.
Nope.
All right. Let me.
And this is why, brothers and sisters, we go so hard. This is why you have to practice the righteous act. You have to practice this daily. You know, even quoting, if you have to battle, and sisters, you know, especially you sisters, and if you have issues with this, and brothers too, you're going to have to quote scriptures in your mind whether you want to or not. And it's going to be hard as hell, because when you got evil thoughts, when you got lustful thoughts in your mind, it's hard to quote scriptures, but you can do it. You start quoting scriptures and everything. You know, the word says, you know, resist the devil and he will flee from you eventually. Like brother was saying, you know, you're going to get those thoughts. And there's a saying I like to say that, you know, you can't prevent the birds from flying over your head. You can't stop the birds from flying over your head, but you can prevent them from building a nest in it. So in other words, you're going to be anywhere. You're going to be in places where you feel like you might get tempted and everything, but doesn't mean that you have to fall into that. You know, so, you know, this is something that we're going to have to practice. Everyone, all of us, we're going to have to start practicing righteousness, period.
All right.
And our people, we have a long ways to go with that. And this is why we're bringing this lesson out to you, hard-headed and rebellious, because that's exactly what our people are, extremely hard-headed and rebellious.
All right, something I want to bring out, right? All right, we're going to talk about Moses here, all right, because I want you to understand, right, the implications of rebelliousness, right? You know, I'm going to show you, right, the main reason why why it took us 40 years instead of, what was it, 12, 11 days?
Yeah, 11 days.
You know what I'm saying? 11 days to Israel. I'm going to show you, right, why the Most High killed all those folks, right? Why they didn't make it? It was the sons of them that made it into the land, right? Now we're going to go through this, right? I want to understand. I want y'all to understand that, hey, being rebellious and being wicked and not doing as the Most High says, right? You know what I'm saying? This stuff has major implications on your salvation, right? It says, now look at this, right? We're going to start right here, right? It says, all right, right? It says, we're going to start with Numbers 12, and I guess we'll start at verse 7. It says, my servant Moses is not, hold on, wait. All right, matter of fact, you know what? I'll read from the beginning. All right? Yeah, it says, and Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses, right? And they said, you know what I'm saying, these are the other, just imagine, right? You got the same guy, he done led y'all from Egypt, right? By power of Yahweh, led them all the way out of the Egypt, right? Now, done put 10 plagues on them, right? By the power of Yahweh, you know what I'm saying? On up, they did all of this, right? And then at the end of they done all of this, they gonna start complaining that this man married a damn Ethiopian woman. Complaining about the woman he got. Are you serious? Now, they've been riding out this long with the man, and all of a sudden now you want to start complaining about the woman he got. Who the hell are you to be speaking against Moses?
Hey, I want to interject something right quick before you move on. And so talk about is Moses' wife, Zipporah. So you know, a lot of people make a mistake and say she was Hamite. She was not Hamite. She was the daughter of Jethro, which he was the priest. And if you do the trace with Jethro, he came from the line of Shem. Now, they wouldn't have the chosen seed, but it was still Abraham, and they were still Abraham. They were still from the line of Shem. So I just wanted to bring that out for anybody who, you know, trying to say that this Moses' wife is a Hamite.
It says, and they said, right, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. So what is that telling you, right? You just can't be murmuring, just like the scriptures say that everything that you say, it will come back to you, man, when the time of judgment, right? The Most High, he's listening, right? You just can't just be saying anything out your mouth and think that stuff is not recorded down by the angels. Man, you got angels around here, you know, recording stuff, you know what I'm saying? Writing stuff down that you do. This stuff is very real, right? And it says, now the man Moses was very meek, right? Now, meek does not mean, he was, kowtowing and lowbrow. No, meek means a person with a power, but they know exactly when to exercise that power. Okay, you know what I'm saying? That means, you know what I'm saying, he's not a bully or nothing. He only uses it when he absolutely must, right? But other than that, man, he's a humble man. He's a kind man, right? It says, and now the man Moses was very meek, above all the men which are upon the face, above all the men that were upon the face of the earth, all of them.
Yep.
And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and to Miriam, come out, ye three, unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. Man, could you imagine just getting called out by the Most High? Get your butt out of here. I need to talk to you. Right? Come on out here. Man, you know, I'll just be shaking in my boots. You know, I don't know if I can do that, right? And it says, right, and the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam. So imagine if he called three people down. You know that one is the chosen from the Most High, the lead, which was Moses. And he didn't call Moses, he just called you two up. And you know that you've been backbiting, right? And talking stuff about Moses when you shouldn't have been, right?
Yep.
And it says, and the Lord came, and now he said, hear my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, make myself known unto him in a vision. And I will speak to him in a dream, right? So I want you to understand this, right? So like prophets all through the scriptures, Ezekiel, Isaiah, right? All the scriptures, you know what I mean? All the prophets that we had, right? All the prophets that we had in the scriptures, the Most High, he did what? He came down and talked to him in a dream, right? Or he gave him a vision. That's how they received instruction from the Most High, right? Just like the guy in Ezra when he was writing all those books, 200 and something books, right? You know, that was the spirit of the Most High coming down to talk to him, right?
Yep.
Now listen how the Most High dealt with Moses. How special Moses is, right? He says, my servant Moses is not so, who is faithful, right? He's a faithful servant in all mine house, right? So he said, hey, Moses is above the prophets. Moses ain't no prophet. Moses is above the prophets to the point where, verse 8, with him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently in dark speeches, right? So he made everything plain to Moses when he talked to him. Right. Not only did he make everything plain, didn't give no riddles and stuff that we see in the scriptures today, that we had to go precept upon precept to break this down and see all the riddles that the disciples were given and all this other stuff. Right. You know, hey, the Most High didn't do that to Moses. He didn't play no games with Moses. Right. It was no guesswork. You know, he respected Moses to the point that he straight up talked to him straight up one-on-one. Hey, Moses, man, let me tell you about this, man. Hey, man, you need to do this. You know what I mean? This is straight talk. And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. So not only was it straight talk, but he was also able to behold a similitude of the Lord. Now, you know how dangerous this is because it says that anyone that looks upon the Lord shall die. No one has seen the Lord and lived, right? But Moses was lucky enough to even look at a similitude of the Lord. Shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? So you knowing that Moses is going hard in the paint, right? He doing all of this, and then all of a sudden, right? It's like you all of a sudden think that if the Most High is talking to it's the Most High sending the similitude of the Lord, right, which is Hamashiach, you know, down to you know what I'm saying, to talk to him face to face, right? Do you not think that I've already done seen that Moses is with a doggone a woman from Ethiopia? You don't think that he noticed that, and y'all still backbiting Moses, right? So Moses is a top man in the nation. It says with him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, not in dark speeches, and the similar to the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore, then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? Now, I wanted to bring that out because I wanted to show you how important Moses was, right? Now let's go to Numbers 20 real quick, right?
Hey, brother, before you, I wanted to precept off something that you mentioned earlier.
Go ahead.
You were saying that, and I wanted to bring out a precept. You were saying that how you got to be careful how you murmur against the Most High because he can hear that stuff. So blur stuff out your mouth and everything. And Ecclesiastes 10:20, it says, "Curse not the king, nor in thy thoughts, and curse not the rich in thy bedchamber. For a bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which hath wings shall tell the matter." So in other words, the whole moral of that is that you got to be careful what you say, because angels are recording stuff, and there's nothing that can be hid from the Most High. So that's the point that I want to bring out to that one.
Now, right? Now remember, right? Remember what was going over, right? This is, remember I tell you, rebellious, right? You know, hard-headed and being rebellious.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the lesson is on, right? Now, remember what we just read, right? And Numbers 12, that Moses was of all the earth, the top man, right? The top man, the meekest man on all the earth. That's what Moses was to the Most High, right? Now, Moses only messed up one time. And we're going to read about that account right here. And we're going to see the punishment that happened because he messed up once. He messed up once. You understand? It says, take the rod, right? This is number 20, right? If y'all want to see what happened to Moses, right? Go to Numbers 20 and start at verse 7. We're going to read down to verse 12. And it said, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak," right? And that's a very important part. "And speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock, so it shall give the congregation," right? "It shall give the congregation and their beast drink." So this is the whole congregation of Israel, right? So he's striking the rock to give water. Right? He's supposed to speak to the rock, right? To give water to the whole congregation of Israel, right? Because they was complaining and murmuring and doing like our people always do.
Mm-hmm.
We complain, it's the white man. We complain about this. We complain because we don't want to put in the work. We've always been like this. We've always been a people that don't like to put in the work. There's a very few of us that do. And those are the ones that the Most High loves. Mm-hmm. Very few of us that like to put in the work. Those are the ones that's going to make it to the kingdom, right? From the beginning, our people do not like to put in the work. They like being lazy. They like other people ruling over them. You know, just like they said, take me back to the flesh pots, right?
Yep.
They wanted to go back to the flesh pots.
After seeing all those 10 plagues and everything, after seeing the splitting of the Red Sea, take us back to the flesh pots. Crazy.
So, right? It says, "So thou shalt give the congregation and their beast drink. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels," right? So Moses is upset because he called them rebels, right? Hard-headed and rebellious, right? Them niggas they was rebelling. After the 10 plagues, everything that the Most High did for them, they still rebelling, right? They still acting up. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, so they have covered their eyes and acting blind, like they did not see the Most High rain down, fire mixed with ice, or acting like the Most High didn't split the Red Sea right in front of them, and they was walking through it, and you could look to the left and right and see sharks swimming around in the water, but they didn't get on you, and the ground was dry, right? And the ground was dry. Don't forget all the great miracles that the Most High has did for our people. Now, we got to remember now, this is our people. This is what the Most High has done for us. The same way that our ancestors were rebellious and hard-headed, that's the same thing we're doing today. Right? We forget about what the Lord's done for us, how we even got here, how we even still alive as a nation, when there's been so many other nations that have been killed off on the earth. But guess what? 2,000 years later, man, we still here. Mm-hmm. We're still here, spread to the four corners of the earth.
And you know why they had to wander so long? You got to understand how sin works. Sin is like a virus. Sin is like a cancer. And if one person gets it, it's like it just spreads through the whole camp. I'm gonna give an example. When Moses went away up to Mount Sinai to receive the commandments, you know, by the time he came back down after being gone for 40 days, he came back down, man. They were just partying and lasciviousness, and the Bible says they rose up to play. And so, you know, it says, you know, if you on the Most High side, you know, come to me, and if not, you know, you're gonna be destroyed. And what happened? He had to, the Most High says, Moses, raise up and slay your brothers. Take up swords and slay your brother. Why? Because the wickedness was so great that if the Most High had allowed that wickedness to continue, it would have spread it, and it probably would have affected everyone. And see, this is why, something's going to have to give with the wickedness of our people of today, because this stuff is spreading like wildfire. Let me give you an example. When you got sisters out there bringing whoredom to a whole new level, Cardi B and them, not Cardi B, but because she ain't no Israelite, but Tim's and all these other hoes that are bringing this whoredom to a whole new level. Well, guess what? They're causing this sin to spread throughout the whole camp of Israel. The brothers too, and so that's why we're living in a time that's such a dangerous time for our peoples, because the purge is going to have to happen. And this is why, we have a hard time the way we do now. It's because that sin, like brother was reading, sin has solely encamped around our people like a virus.
God, it's time for us to wake up, right? So, like I said, just like our brother Daniel was saying, right? We got to understand, right? It says, and Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, "Hear now, ye rebels," right? Like it said, man, hard-headed and rebellious. Must we fetch you water out of this rock? Right. So right. Moses was so angry, right, that he not only did he not give the glory to the Lord, he was trying to say we, as in men, as in Aaron and him, right? He didn't give the glory unto the Lord, right? He this was like a doing of his own. Not only did he strike the rock, but he also tried to claim it as a doing of his own, right? Right there. It says, and Moses lifted up his hand and with his rod smote the rock twice. Right? The Lord didn't say hit the rock twice. The Lord said speak to the rock. That's all he's supposed to do. He smote the rock twice, and water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. Now, hey, listen now. This is the trick, right? The Most High didn't have to let the water come out and for them to drink, but he did. And let's see why. Because this is a powerful verse. Verse 12, right? It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, right, and Aaron, because ye believe me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, right? Because he was supposed to speak to the rock. But instead, he said it was him and Aaron that did it to give them some water, and he struck the rock 2 times. Therefore, ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. They ain't going. The whole congregation, they ain't making it. Right? Why? Because he messed up this one time, right? He messed up this one time, and the Most High was like, you know what? I got something for you. You know what? You ain't going to make it to the promised land. Yeah, hey, I don't care if you was 80-something, when I started this mission, right? I don't care if you was 80-something. I don't care if I let you part the Red Sea. I don't care if I, plague Pharaoh, this, that, and the third, right? You did not do what I told you, right? So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 3, and we're going to see that, man, hey, Moses, man, he wasn't cool with that. Moses was like, he tried to ask the Lord to please, let me, let me into the kingdom, right? But let's see what happens.
Hey, while this is going down, I want to inject something. You got to understand how Moses was the meekest, probably of all the prophets. Moses was the meekest. Now, you got to, man, you got to be a serious rebellious people, man, to cause Moses to get like to that point. That's just unbelievable. And I know, in my heart, it couldn't have been me, because I probably definitely would have struck that rock like 100 times over and probably got destroyed, because of people making us dealing with our people. So Moses was a meek prophet, and it took a lot to get him to that point, and he lost it for that time being, because our people was just so stiff-necked and rebellious.
But don't think that the Most High, he didn't continue his mission, right? But the Most High, he gonna always continue his mission. Time is not an option for the Most High, because time doesn't exist for him. You understand? So, it doesn't matter how long it takes, right? It's going to get done. All the righteous will be saved. It's going to get done. It could take us 3,000 years, right? 4,000, 5,000. It doesn't matter, right? The Most High, his plan is going to work regardless, because he has all the time in the world. right? Because he even created time. That's just to him. There's no such thing as time, man. We can't even fathom the amount of time that he has existed because it's innumerable. Literally, it's innumerable, right? And it says, we're going to read Deuteronomy chapter 3, right? John chapter 3 and 24. It says, "O Lord God, thou hast begun to show thy servant thy greatness," right? This is Moses, right? "And thy mighty hand, for what God is there in heaven or in earth that can do according to thy works and according to thy might," right? So he praying here. "I pray thee, let me go over and see the good land that is beyond Jordan, that goodly mountain in Lebanon," right? Well, listen what happened. "But the Lord was wroth with me for your sakes," right? Why? Because he had to strike them out because he was mad because these wicked Israelites was not stop complaining. "But the Lord was wroth for me for your sakes. He would not hear me. And the Lord said unto me, let it suffice thee." In other words, hey, let it chill, yo, you're going to die because I said it, right? "Speak no more unto me of this matter." The Lord said, hey, man, you already messed up. You're going to die. You ain't seeing the promised land. And I don't want to hear nothing else from you about it. Imagine that, right? He messed up one time.
Okay. You know what that's equivalent to, right? Because, look at, and this tells you how consistent the Most High is. You look at Adam and Eve. Now, he could have allowed them to go back into the garden, after that little thing, but he didn't. But that tells you how perfect Yahweh is, You don't, if he tells you to do something, you do something against that. That's it. You only get one chance. You screw up that one chance, you lose that chance.
Right? So we're going to get over and we're going to flip over to this last precept dealing with this situation. We're going to go to number 78, right? This is kind of long, but, still, right? We're going to go over it because I want you to understand, man, the Most High, he doesn't play any games, right? Y'all think y'all can just out here and y'all have, just like the brother Dane was reading, just because it's not speedily, the judgment is not speedily executed, that the evil is set in the hearts of men. I mean, y'all think y'all can just go out here and do whatever the hell y'all want because the Most High isn't immediately judging y'all. Now, back in those days, right, when the Most High had pulled our people out of Egypt and we began the 40-year journey to Israel. Now, tons of niggas died. Tons of Israelites died, right? They died because they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to adhere to the law. They didn't want to obey.
Nope.
They loved it in the land of the heathen instead. They want to do it
like gravy on rice.
Right? So it says, Psalm 78, right? Verse 12. It says, "Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan. He divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and he made the waters to stand as a heap." You heard that? He said he made the waters to stand as a heap. Bam. Right? So they rose up. They rose up like big mountains on both sides, right? He says, "In the daytime, also he led them with a cloud, and all the night with the light of fire." Now remember, he's doing all of this for our people. He clave the rocks in the wilderness, right? Clave the rocks and gave them drink, right? Out of the great depths. This is when Moses had struck the rock. He also brought streams out of the rock and caused waters to run down like rivers. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted God in their heart by asking meat for their lust. Right? You remember they was begging. They was "Oh Lord, the manna just ain't enough. Can I get some meat?" And the Lord did what? The Lord, even after all they complaining, whining, and crying, the Lord said, "Hey man, you know what? Okay. I done made y'all special manna from heaven that never rots, never gets mold, never gets old. I done kept y'all shoes, y'all clothes in perfect condition like they've never been worn all these years."
Yeah.
Right? But y'all still want to complain and cry and do all this. The Lord still said, you know what he did? Well, the Lord commanded some quails to come on through so y'all greedy niggas can eat them up. Right? The Lord said, hey, you know what, man? Those my people, I love them. Right? They said, what? Behold, right? And he said they spake against God. They said God can furnish a table in the. He said, can God furnish a table in the wilderness? What are you doing right here? Right? You tempted the Lord thy God. You trying to doubt the Lord, right? And it says, behold, he smote the rock that the waters gushed out and the streams overflowed. Can he also give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? Man, they was listen, man, I can't, you know what I'm saying? This is like, think about it, right? This is how our people are today, right? You see something that's so great and so above you, and you still trying them. You still trying them, right? You still trying them, right? Manna is heavenly food bought by God. That's what manna is, right? The food that God dropped down to Israel, right? You know what I'm saying? Them niggas was so greedy, man. The Lord had to tell them to stay in the house on the Sabbath day because they were still going out trying to get. I don't get on that, but you know, man, you know, like if I've ever seen the people on the earth that I know that is the Israelites, it's got to be our people.
It is, yeah.
I mean, like even if you don't even know the scriptures, you know, you got to know that we are these people, right? Even
lost, it is definitely us.
Glory, come. This is ridiculous. Go ahead. You want to say something before I continue on?
No, go ahead, man.
All right, come on, right? And it says, therefore the Lord heard this. So y'all there complaining and thinking, oh, the Lord, blah, 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 blah. The Lord is listening, right? The Lord heard this and was wroth. He was mad. The Lord was upset. Imagine making the Almighty mad. The man who created the earth, right? Had, you know what I'm saying? You know, he has all the knowledge and the workings to create the earth and human beings and animals and beasts and make you talk, have a brain, all this other stuff, and you done made him mad. Imagine that. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and an anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in God and trusted not in his salvation. That's the same thing we're doing today, right? You tell her, you tell a sister, hey, you're supposed to keep your legs closed. You're supposed to be a virgin, right? Before marriage. You know, that's what it says in the Bible. You know, that's the Old Testament. Oh, no, that's the old days. God don't say that no more, right? They don't believe in God, and they do not trust in his salvation. And instead, they believe in the ways of the heathen, right? They trust in the heathen salvation that some albino Neanderthal is going to come through and save you. Our people actually believe that. You could tell it all day because what? The sisters run to the white man for child support, right? You know what I'm saying? They run to the white man whenever you know, you trying to lay down. He done manhandle me. He's being controlling. You don't believe in God. You don't believe what the scriptures say, right? Though he had commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of heaven and had rained down manna upon them to eat, right? You heard that? He said he opened the doors of heaven. You know where that coming from? Damn. Right? He opened the dome, right? He opened the vault. He opened the firmament, and through the firmament, the Lord decided to drop y'all off a couple of morsels straight from the heavenly gates. And this was
manna that was not created by the hands of man. You got to understand that. This was a special kind of manna that was rained down, you know. And now, you imagine imagine feasting on that, you know, what it would do for the body. It probably had, that manna probably had even special powers in it or something, you know. It just, man. But yet they were complaining about that.
And you know what's crazy about that, right? Look at this. Angels, it said, and had rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food. Right? Mm-hmm. You have eaten the food that the angels have get, you know, that the angels get from the Most High, and these wicked niggas were still complaining. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling the niggas because they're not Israelites, right? You know what I'm saying? The Israelites obey the law, statutes, and commandments. Niggas obey the ways of the devil, obeys the ways of Satan, because they don't want to be saved. They don't believe, right? They do not want the salvation. They want the salvation of the heathen instead. They want that quick dollar, right? Hey, man, I want a Bentley. I want the Gucci bag. Ridiculous, right? And it said, he caused an east wind to blow in the heaven, and by his power he brought in the south wind. He rained flesh also upon them as dust. Damn, right? I mean, he said he rained flesh among them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea. That means the Lord had put so many quails, right, for you to eat, man. You had more than enough. He said, like dust, man, there's so much dust and dust particles and sand of the sea, man, that's innumerable.
So much of it was coming out their ears and nostrils.
God, right? And he said, and the Most High did, you know what I'm saying, the Most High didn't make you go get it, right? You didn't have to run around the corner or go out and forage for it. You know what he did, right? and he let it fall in the midst of the camp. Means in the
Man.
middle of the camp. You had to go nowhere.
Look, they
About their habitations.
They didn't have to go out and hunt, skin no animal, man, and get all the guts and squeeze all the blood out of it and everything like that, man. It just fell right in their laps.
That's crazy, man. They had to catch him. They had to shoot it down with no arrows or nothing. Right? The Most High just damn brought it to you. Boom. Because you know that we cannot eat any dead thing, right? That means anything that's died on its own, you know what I'm saying? It's against the law for you to eat it.
Yep.
So the Most High, he did his own thing and killed those animals right in front of you. So you could get that meat. Like, man, how people don't understand the amount of blessings and the amount of love and care that the Most High has for his people. Even after all the wickedness that they was doing, right? The scriptures say, so they did eat and they were filled and he gave them their own desire, right? He gave them their own desire. Imagine that, man. The Most High giving his own, hey, man, chill, man.
Well, see, that goes right there. We read in Romans 1:28 and everything, what it says, he gave them over to a reprobate mind. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just because the Most High is going to turn you loose and he's going to let you do what you want to do. But guess what? The end result is going to be devastating because it's going to end up causing you to be destroyed. And that's why so many of our people during that 40 years had to be wiped out.
Which, it goes on to say, right?
And again, same thing with, these sisters talking about, I'm a boss bee and everything like that. I don't need no man, what have you. I can have as many babies as I want. I can get all the welfare I want. Okay, all right. The Most High says, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let you get exactly. I'm gonna let you be the boss bee. I'm gonna let you be the man of the house, but you're gonna see where it's gonna end up in the next 50 years.
That's right. And you brothers, the same thing for you. You going out here trying to sleep with all these low value women, got babies by other brothers and all this other stuff. You giving them the attention of the day and all. Man, hey man, you wicked. You a wicked, weak brother. Yeah, that's a weak man that does stuff like that. You don't understand your worth as a man of God. To even go after that kind of stuff, right? That stuff is tainted. That's not for you. That's gonna make you an adulterer, right? And it says, right? So they did eat and they were filled, for he gave them their own desire. They were not estranged from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouths. Meaning that, man, they was eating the stuff that they was begging and crying. They was eating the meat that God was giving them. They was still thinking about wickedness of what they could do against the Most High, right? It said the wrath of God came upon them. 31, we in verse 31. The wrath of God came upon them and slew the fattest of them and smote down the chosen men of Israel, right? Because we're all chosen, right? All of us are chosen, right? But you got to choose yourself by teaching the law, by following the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? If you can't, say that's how you choose yourself. Like we're all chosen men, but in order to choose yourself, you got to obey. You got to obey the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High set for us. For all this, they sinned still.
Not an option.
For all this, they sinned still and believed not for his wondrous works. Therefore, their days did he consume in vanity, and their years in trouble. That's just like us right now in America, right?
Yep.
And all over the four corners of the earth. What is he doing, right? We still are sinning. We ain't keeping the law, right? Because we did not believe in the wondrous works, right? You think it's a fable. The Bible's not real. It's written by the white man. You don't believe in the Bible, right? So we still sinning. We don't believe in the wondrous works, how the Most High, he delivered us from Egypt, because we're still sinning. It said, therefore, their days did he consume in vanity. As the days go past, right? What are we doing? Nothing. We ain't keeping the commandments. We got millions of Israelites that are dying, right? Out of all the time that we've been here, millions and billions of Israelites that have been killed and died in vanity, right? The Most High has consumed them in vanity, right? And their years in trouble. You have not had no good years here in America, right? You know what I'm saying? You may say that, hey, man, I'm living okay now, right? But are you really living okay being under the foot of the heathen? Man, you ain't running nothing around here. You ain't going to be no leader in no country, right? You're not going to own no military, right? Man, you don't even pay for your own water. You don't have no water. You don't have no natural resources. You have nothing. But yet you thinking you living your best life. We are nothing but hard-headed and rebellious. We too slow. We got the blinders on. We can't see what's right in front of us. The extreme situation that we're in. This is not a good situation. We're in a bad situation. At any given time, these heathens can be like, you know what? I'm about to start rounding up all the niggas. I'm going to start rounding up and what can you do about it? Nothing. You may be able to fight a little bit, But remember, it's 250 something million heathen compared to our 40 something million. You ain't winning. This is not the days where we're keeping the commandments and we can and one can fight against 10. It's not them days. This them days where you got 10 of us get beat down by one of them, as you see in the prison systems, right? You might have 2 guards in the prison system, right? And in a unit, you got 250 you got 250 men, and 200 of them are Israelites, right? You may have, just like when we was in slavery, you got one slave master and a couple of heathens over there overseeing the field, right? But the curses is on us so bad, we cannot overcome them. How is that possible? Niggas scared to die, man. Right? It says, but when he slew them, then they sought him. And they returned and inquired early after God. That's just like something we going down to church, right? You know what I'm saying? Every time you see one of our people get killed, right, all of a sudden now you got black folks in mass running to these churches, praying to this white Jesus, all this other stuff, because they trying to seek some kind of remedy, seek some kind of help, from the Lord, because they know that this is not right. This is getting shot down. But we only cry when we in trouble to the Lord. We don't cry aside right now that we're living in this wickedness. Some of y'all are feminists. Some of y'all are feminists. Some of you brothers are noodle back brothers that try to agree with it, right? This is ridiculous. It says, when he slew them, they sought him. And they returned and inquired early. Now, you got to understand, man, when we get shot down, right, when we got down in slavery, man, you can't blame the white man for that. You can't blame the Arabs for us going to slavery. That's our fault, because we didn't keep the commandments. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to blame somebody, you got to blame yourself. Or if you want to get mad at somebody, hey, it's the Lord that sent them against us. You gonna do like you gonna be that one that speak against the Holy One? You gonna be the one to speak against the Holy One of Israel? No. We got to understand the situation that has happened and what we've been through to get to this situation, to get to this point in life, right? And it says, and they remember that God was their rock, right? It's going to come a time when we're going to remember that again, but right now, man, we're too hard-headed and rebellious. We don't remember that God is our rock. And the high God, the Redeemer. And the high God, their Redeemer, right? You know who the high God is? The high God is Yahweh. Right? Who is the rock? That's Hamashiach. Hamashiach is the cornerstone. He is the rock, right? That's why it says it 2 times. The first time it says, and they remember that God was their rock, Hamashiach, and the high God, their Redeemer, right? Who's the high God? Right? That's Yahweh, the Almighty. He's the one that's going to redeem us out of this, right? He's the only one that can take away our sin. Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth like we do now. Right? Hey, well, Lord, I believe, Lord, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And they lied unto him with their tongues. Man, we do that every day. Lord, I'm not going to do that no more. Lord, I'm not going to do that. No, Lord, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lay down with that man. I'm going to stop. Right the next day, right? We got it bust wide open again. And their heart was not right with him, because our hearts are not right with the Most High. If they were, we would have the situation we will have. We would have 73% of our nation baby mamas. 73% of our nation are not married. 1 out of 4 Israelite sisters getting married. This is ridiculous, right? And they all having sex with the Pookie and Ray Rays. That's why you got 2 or 3 different. This is ridiculous. Neither were they steadfast in his covenant. We aren't steadfast in the Most High's covenant, right? And the covenant is what? If you keep the law, I will redeem you and give you salvation. That's the covenant. If you don't keep the law, you're going to the lake of fire.
And the Most High has never broken that covenant. We're the only ones who broke the covenant. The covenant still stands, and that's why the laws are still here.
Con. Go ahead, up. All right.
All right.
Okay.
Now let's see you done with that chapter.
Okay, con. It says, for he remembered right now, it says, for their heart was not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. But he, being full of compassion, man, we are lucky that the Most High is compassionate for his people. Because you see, he don't give a damn about them heathens, right? He cares about his people. That's why we're the ones that are getting chastised and punished, because he cares about us. Now, I'll be worried if nothing will be happening to us, because then I'll think that the Most High did away with his people, because nothing is happening to us. He allowing us to do all kinds of wickedness. But as we see, being here in this heathen land, that the Most High continues to do what? He continues to judge us and to give us that work, right? He continues to judge us and continues to give us that work constantly. And it said what? For he remembered Slakia, right? It says, but he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity, right? And destroyed them not. Yea, many a time turned he his anger away and did not stir up all his wrath. Many a time. That's way back in those days. That's over 2,000 years ago. He had already been pissing off the Most High at an innumerable amount of times, and he still has not killed us. Well, we lucky. You don't understand how lucky of a people we are when there's so many nations that have been destroyed off the face of the earth, right? Therefore, he remembered that we were but flesh, right? We were nothing but flesh, right? He remembered that we were but flesh. A wind that passes the way and not cometh again, right? The Lord equates your life to a wind that just passes by. You don't never feel it again. That's why the Lord had to remember it. The Lord said, you know what? I'm not going to kill these niggas. And, I'm not going to wipe out all of them like I feel like doing because they wicked as hell. Because, they flesh in their lives, I'm saying? It pops in and it pops out like wind. It's okay, right? I'm going to have some Israelites that's going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. It says, how often did they provoke him in the wilderness and grieve him in the desert? Imagine grieving the Most High. How you going to do that? Yea, they turned back and tempted God and limited the Holy One of Israel. And they limited Hamashiach. How you going to limit Hamashiach? They remembered not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy, right? Now, I can go on down, and you can read all of this, and it has more and more and more and more and more. So look. For they provoked him to anger with their high places. They removed him to jealousy with their graven images. Man, this is all the same stuff we're doing today, right? I can go over this whole chapter, right? But this is your homework for the night. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, and we're not done with the lesson, but I'm gonna move on so Brother Daniel can get to Ezekiel 20. But we can go through this all because if it's up to me, I'll be here all night dealing with just Psalm 78. So you understand how hard-headed and rebellious our people are, right? So that's it. I want y'all to read that. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, that's just one chapter.
That's just one chapter. Right, Khan. And also,
so you imagine going through. Yeah, so you imagine going to the book of Isaiah and Jeremiah, and those two books right there are heavy when the Most High on dealing with our people and everything. But the reason why I want to bring out Ezekiel 20 because it's going to be a similar, situation. The only difference is that when we came out of Egypt, we were all together, But now that we're scattered, the Most High is still going to bring us. He's going to gather us from the wilderness. Now, whether He gathers us in what people call UFOs, what have you, but He is going to send His angels to gather His people from the four corners to wherever He is scattered at. And
hold up real quick, Doc. Before you get too deep in there, I want to read two more scriptures, okay?
Okay.
And then I'll let you take off. Right.
Yeah.
So skip down to 60, so skipping down to 78, right? As we read over the first part, it says, this is what the Most High did now, right? This is what He's done today. It says, and He delivered His strength into captivity. That means the Most High, He put His power into putting our people in slavery. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And His glory into the enemy's hands. The Most High, man, He said, hey, I'm not dealing with the chosen people right now. It's time for them to get a whooping. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my power into putting these niggas in captivity. I'm going to put my power into the Edomites' hands, into these heathens' hands, to the albino Neanderthals' hands to come over and get you. He gave His people over to the sword. That's what happened, right? 99+ million of us got destroyed, right? During the transatlantic slave trade. And He was wroth with His inheritance. And we are His inheritance, right? The children of Israel. That's the Most High's inheritance. Go ahead, Salakia.
I want to bring out you made me think of something right quick. Let me bring this out right quick before I go to Ezekiel, because you was talking about how rebellious our people are and everything, and how the Most High had to raise up the enemies, man, to destroy us. But let me show you something, because this is right here. What I'm about to read to you is so profound. Deuteronomy 28:68, and some of y'all probably heard me read it before, but I'm just going to show you how serious the Most High is. When it comes to our rebellious. All right, Deuteronomy 28:62, and it says, "And it shall come to pass that as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good." So in other words, You know, he rejoiced over the, when we were keeping laws back in King David's time. There wasn't a nation that could touch us. Not one nation, because we was kicking some butt back then. And it says, Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you. So Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught, and ye shall be plucked from off the land whither you go to possess it. And you got to understand. Let me read this, and let me read this part right here too in the next verse. And Yahweh shall scatter you among all people. Now, has this prophecy have not been fulfilled? It has been fulfilled because we are scattered amongst all these people. It says, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there ye shall serve other gods or Elohims, which neither you nor your fathers have known, even wood and stone. And you know, this is a cut for those who are saying that this is the promised land, because we've never known this. We've never known this language. We've never known this area before.
And that's also a cut to that stupid ass 12 tribes chart. You know, that they say, oh, we got all these different nations in our people. No, man. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, if you add all of that stuff up, that's going to make us the majority. That's not going to make us something that the Most High has destroyed to bring us to naught. You understand? That means that we're small among the heathen.
Yep. And check this out, verse 65. And among these nations shall ye find no ease. Yeah, you cannot tell me that it's easy for our people in this, you know, this forsaken place. It says, neither shall the sole of your foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give you there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. I mean, this is stuff that our people, you know, are going through right now. And your life shall hang in doubt before you, and you shall fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of your life. You look at our people, you know, we're the most hated people amongst the nations. You know, we got to watch our backs everywhere we go. You know, police are killing us, heathens are killing us, our own people are killing us. Man,
every time you get pulled over by the police, you get scared. You know what I mean? Tell me that's not a lie. And your life shall hang in doubt before you, and you shall fear day and night, and have none assurance for your life. As soon as you get pulled over by the police, you know what I mean? Your asses are just sweating. Niggas are sweating. You know what I mean? They don't know what's going on.
All this because we are a rebellious and hard-headed people. And that's why I wanted to bring this out. And did you have anything else before I go to Ezekiel, brother?
No, that's strong, man. That's strong. It's all you from here.
So no, we just jump in. Feel free, man. Hey, so I wanted to use this because this is a similar situation that we're going to be coming out here whenever this is going to be, you know, and it goes together so perfectly because it's going to show us, you know, what the Most High is going to do for His people when he brings it out. So don't think that just because, you know, He gathers us from the four corners and it's going to be all cake and ice cream from here. Oh no. There's going to be some, you know, you're going to see what's going to happen. And when you start off at verse 34, it says, "I will bring you out from the people." This hasn't happened yet because we're still scattered amongst the four corners. It says, "I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered." This is the only captivity where we were scattered throughout the four corners. All the other captivities we were oppressed together. When you read Jeremiah chapter 50, it says that we were, and the camps like to use that to try to apply it to this time, but it was talking about the Babylonian captivity. We were oppressed, that Judah and Israel were oppressed together. So, but this is the only captivity that we're in now, that we are scattered to the four corners, and that we completely have been destroyed. And we don't know anything about our heritage. It says, let me read that part again. "I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out." Right. So that means that when He comes, this ain't gonna be no just fly by night kind of thing. It's gonna be loud. The whole world's gonna know. Everybody's gonna know what the hell is going on, because He says with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. So that means that in the same sense how He brought us out of Egypt, there's going to be some noise. There's going to be some plagues. There's going to be some stuff that's going to happen. All right, you get what I'm saying? And you see how this is so close to what the Most High did. See, like the Most High, His patterns. This is how awesome the Most High is. His patterns are always going to be the same. how he delivers our people.
That's right.
And when you look at how he delivers our people, this is exactly how he delivered them out of the hand of Egypt, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out, those 10 plagues.
That's right.
All right, verse 35. And it says, and I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. Now, he's not talking about, hey, I want you to stop doing this and plead. Plead means that you better, you better tighten up, or you're gonna die.
Come on. You
All
know
right,
what
verse
though?
36. Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's awesome. Well, I was going to put in right now. A lot of people they have these things where they think these damn UFOs or flying saucers are coming to get them. Right now, now the scriptures say that the chariots are coming to get us. Right, the chariots ain't no damn UFOs. Ain't no shiny flying saucers made of metal. No crazy stuff like that. Man, that's just complete ignorance of folks that don't understand the scriptures. I just want to bring this in, even this don't have anything to do with the lesson. Right? If you look up and you see how Enoch was translated up, and if you look up and see how Elijah was translated up, there were fiery chariots with fiery horses. Right? Yep. Those are the things that are coming to deliver you. Right? It's not gonna. Those are the chariots that are coming to rescue the Most High's people. It's not gonna be no shiny alien ships or none of that old crazy stuff. It's gonna be chariots with fire.
When you say that throughout the word, there's so many verses where it talks about his chariots are in the clouds. So you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna look nothing like what you see on TV and all that kind of stuff. This is gonna be
no flying saucers under that folly.
It's gonna be completely mind blowing. The technology is going to be so advanced that it's like, we talking about trillions of years ahead of anything.
It's going to be horses. It's going to be flaming horses and chariots. You know what I'm saying? That's the Most High's technology is biotechnology. You don't deal with all this other crazy stuff, right? That's just folly.
And it says, likewise, as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith Yahweh. All right. So he says, likewise, as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness. You see how this is lead up to the same thing, because it's talking about a different generation. It's talking about our generation, or the generation that's way after us. Like, as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith Yahweh. So anywhere, it's like when the Most High, we talk about seeds because we are our forefathers. And so it's like when the Most High is talking to our people, he is talking not only to our people directly, but he's talking about to generations to come. You got to understand that, because time with the Most High is like, it's nothing for him. We 2,000-3,000 years can pass, and that's only like a couple of days for the Most High. A flicker. What is that to the Most High?
Right.
And this is why the concept of time is so misconstrued with our people, because our people are always trying to, set some time frame. This whole 1619 to 2019 thing. That stuff is just so folly and everything. People, and you basing that off of some thing that one of the presidents came out with. That stuff is just so folly and everything. It says, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith Yahweh. I will cause you to pass under the rod. Now, what does that mean? Most High says that he will rule with a rod of iron. What is a rod normally used for? It's used for correction.
Facts.
Shepherds will use it to beat the hell out of sheep. To get their flock in order.
Beat the hell out of sheep.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta understand the whole purpose of a rod. The rod is a symbolic representation of correction. That's what it is. A rod is a correcting tool. So when it says, and I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. So what is the covenant? The covenant is just agreement between us and the Most High.
Which is the covenant of, if you got to keep the commandments,
which is all of his commandments that we had made a covenant with. All right. Now watch this right here, because this is really important to understand. It says, and I will purge out from among you the rebels. What does it mean? What does rebel mean? Rebel means to go against.
That's right.
Go against who? The Most High and His laws, commandments, and statutes. And I will purge. That word purge doesn't mean something soft. It means to kill.
Remember that movie, The Purge?
It's the same thing when Moses, when the Most High told Hamashiach told Moses to rise up and kill your brothers. Take up swords and kill your brothers.
They got a movie called The Purge, right? Yeah. The purge is something violently you purge it out. That's not nothing soft, and you violently get rid of that. You know what I mean? By slaying and killing and blood and guts, stuff of that nature, man. The Most High, he's not playing. He has to make an example of the wicked.
Yeah. So the purging is something that is going to be so fierce and so, crazy. And so the rebels, this is, and I will purge out the rebels from among. I will purge out from among you the rebels. Well, who are these rebels? Everything, the hard-headed and the rebellious. Just like what the lesson says, the hard-headed and the rebellious. And them that transgress against me. So anything that's against His ways, His laws, commandments, statutes, got to go. And I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Now, this is serious, y'all. And this is why I love this one so much, because, this is going to happen again. We are going into the wilderness, whether you like it or not. Now, probably won't be the next generation after, whatever, but it's going to happen. It's eventually going to happen.
Y'all know why we got to go into the wilderness, Israel? If y'all have a, I'm not going to tell y'all why right now. If y'all have a reason why, write it in the comment board. Yeah. If y'all know the reason why we have to go into why we have to go into the wilderness again, to go into the land of Israel, just like we did the first time, right? Just like we did the first time.
Same thing. And this is why I wanted to bring this out. Why? Because we're going to have 1,000 years. We're going to have to be learning everything.
John.
And this is why it's so important to understand. So, right now, our people are still going through the destruction process. All right, the destruction process hasn't ended yet. It's still happening, y'all. Just because the chains are off and everything doesn't mean that our people are still, that all of a sudden the curses are lifted and everything like that. We are still under the curses. We are still if anyone can show us in the scriptures where we're not under the curses, come online. We got the link in the chat box. Come online and show us in the scriptures where the curses have been lifted already. You're not gonna find it. Because guess what? We are still a rebellious and hard-headed people. All
right. For those that I didn't see anybody that knew the answer because of sin. Okay, let me see. Right. Too much wickedness, no laws, right? Reproof and correction because of sin, separation from the rebels. Okay, close, right? But we're gonna go to 5 and 11, right? Now, the reason why you can't go into the land of Israel, right, is because in order to be there, right, you have to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, right? If you don't keep the laws, statutes, and commandments in the law in Israel, you're gonna defile the land, right? That's the reason why we couldn't get there. Why it took us 40 years to get there, because they were laden with sin, right? Drinking from the well of wickedness because they didn't want to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. It took us 40 years. The Lord had to kill a lot of people, right? Most had to kill a lot of wicked Negroes to get us up out of it, right? For the righteous to be born and able to get the kingdom, right? It says, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers, right? War, right? In the places of the drawing water, right? There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord. We're going to be rehearsing the righteous acts of the Lord in the wilderness, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of the villages in Israel. Then, right, after we rehearse the acts, right, after we learn it and we get it down, how to keep the Shabbat, how to keep the new moon, what days are which, this, that, and the third, right, how to understand and keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates.
Yep.
Because you can't get into the kingdom and you don't know the law. That's not going to happen, right? You got to be keeping the law with accuracy and in truth, right? You have to absolutely follow these things in order to get in there. If you don't, the Most High ain't letting you in. You ain't getting in there, right? Go ahead, Salaki. I just want to bring that out.
No. That's true. So that's going to be our training ground. But I'm so ready for that, man. And it's like, because the only way that we're gonna become free is we're gonna have to be eventually separated from the heathens. But the Most High has to allow our people. It's like we read in Deuteronomy 28:63. He's gonna rejoice as he rejoiced to do good over us. He's gonna rejoice to do evil over us. Because what? Because our people are constant and stiff-necked to the core. And so, in a sense, there's a purging that's happening now. There's a self-purging. A lot of our people, unfortunately, are being destroyed, mentally, spiritually, and everything else. And this has to happen for us to see the true nature of our actions. And we ain't seen nothing yet, y'all. Y'all think it's bad now. Y'all think that the level of the wickedness of our people is at an all-time high. Oh, no, we ain't seen nothing yet. And it's going to get so bad. Think about it. Think about it. All the times that the Most High had to destroy our people, they were at such a high wickedness. The flood, Sodom and Gomorrah, Tower of Babel. Their mindset was such at a high and dosage of wickedness that's what it took before the Most High came down and had to destroy them.
Right.
And it was Genesis 19. It says that the people that was practicing sodomy was from very young age to the oldest. I mean, you had kids out there with that mindset. To the oldest people.
And you see this stuff is starting up again right here in the land of the heathen, right?
Yeah.
It won't be long.
And already they're pushing this. There was an article I saw. Man, I can't remember if I still got it, but there was an article where they were trying to make pedophilia what were they trying to make it? They was trying to make it a sexual orientation. And that's just how crazy this stuff is getting, because I can see how this thing is going with this transgender thing and everything, and it's getting worse and it's getting worse. Even Amazon is selling that mess. But guess what they're pushing it on? They're pushing it on our people. They're pushing it on our people because the Most High don't give a damn about the heathens. They know that they're through, and they don't care about the collateral damage. But the whole objective is to get to our people. Corrupt their minds so they can't think straight. Corrupt their minds so they can't even keep the laws anymore. Corrupt their diet. Corrupt everything that they eat. Corrupt everything that they watch on TV. Sometimes it just helps to throw that idiot box out the house, because it ain't doing nothing but destroying our people. Period.
I saw a story the other day, right? It was a story, and this is sad, but there's I don't know if y'all seen it or whatever, but it was a sister. She was in a restaurant, and she was eating, and another sister was in there, right? And she ended up having a problem with the sister because she had her dog in there. She had a little mutt and a little dog in there, and let the dog get up on the table and eat the food and stuff. Now, I remember the days that our people, we knew better than to have dogs and nasty, unclean animals at the table, while we're eating food and stuff like that. But this is how our minds have been affected with these heathen. Man, you say something this year, and then later on, as we starting to progress, right, in this land of the heathen, now all of a sudden we're starting to take on the minds of the heathen. And the scriptures said plainly in Proverbs, right? Learn out the ways of the heathen.
Yep.
Right? You're not supposed to be envious or jealous or any of. You're not supposed to want to do those things. We are a holy people, which means we are a set apart people. We don't do the same thing as everybody else does. I don't know why we want to continue to fit in and all this other and all this other crazy stuff. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, we're literally the strongest on the earth. We're literally the fastest on the earth. We're literally the most intelligent on the earth. The ones of us that actually, use our brains, for for things that are beneficial to our nation, right? So we have thought of 85 to 90% of the technological advances that are here in America, even while in captivity. That's a damn shame, right? Israelites are smart. This is why these people want us. They want us in their nation. Man, you ever go to the Olympics? Man, the other day I was just seeing some brother that was in the Olympics for martial arts, right? This brother is in Saudi Arabia. He's repping Saudi Arabia, but he's a brother. It's a brother repping Saudi Arabia. We are spread throughout the four corners of the earth, right? We are most definitely higher above all the other nations, as Deuteronomy 7:6 describes.
Mhm.
Yet, some type of way, we don't believe it. We want to get down with the heathen. We want to do what they're doing instead of keep our laws, statutes, and commandments that are what? That are make us akin to God. We don't want to be like God. We don't want to be gods on this earth. Man, we want to be heathens. We want to be rebels. We want to be rebellious.
And that's been Israel's problem from the very, very beginning. And it's not enough that we want to be, but we want to be like, we've always wanted to be like the other nations. Always, no matter what time frame it was, no matter what generation it was like our people always wanted to be like the other nations. And that's why, we wouldn't even supposed to have really judges, it was supposed to be one person ruling over Israel, but we ended up having judges and they wanted kings, and that just all went downhill.
We got
and that's why when the Most High sets up his kingdom, that's why it's going to be set up in a particular way. You're going to have, of course, Yahweh. You're going to have the Son once they join his kingdom together. You're going to have the 144,000. You're going to have the 24 elders. It's going to be a perfect government that nobody won't be able to buck. And guess what? It's going to be set up in a way where nobody's going to just be able to turn away or go off.
Thanks.
Because any wickedness that even thinks about rising up is going to be stamped out. And that's why the whole this whole king thing, some carnal man ruling over Israel. No, that's never going to work. It's never going to work.
So Israel, if anyone wants to come on, y'all got any questions or anything of that nature? You had anything? Did you have anything? I didn't mean to cut you off. You had anything?
No, let's. Oh, remind me too. I need to bring that calendar up.
Con. You can go ahead and get on that now.
Yeah, let me bring that calendar up before I forget here.
Right. So, while he's getting the calendar up, if y'all want to, click on the link and come into the queue, we'll have you guys backstage, and we'll bring you on, provided you're not a heathen. And you can ask any questions pertaining to the lesson that you want. The lesson is kind of broad today, so we'll be able to accept a broader range of questions. All right. What is month 7? We should already have it.
Give me a second.
All right,
there you go. It's taking a minute. All right. Can everybody see that?
I can see it over here. Put a 1 in the comment board if you can see it, please. Put a 1 in the comment section if you can see that. I forgot this thing is a little bit behind.
Yeah.
So it takes a while for it to register on there.
Yeah. All right.
I know I can see it though.
Yeah, I think
all
that. All right. So and just go back to the last lesson that we did. At the end of that lesson, we did we did the new month lesson and everything. So just those of you who has the calendar, sunset the 26th, which is next, which is Tuesday. Which is Monday. So this coming Monday, sunset is going to begin the Day of Atonement. So you don't want to eat anything. I mean, no water, no food, no nothing, not even mints.
Right.
You won't have anything in your mouth and everything. And if you want to help not to tempt yourself, just put like some blockers in your kitchen or something, so you don't get tempted and everything. Because that's a very, very important day. And to kind of tie it in with this lesson that we did, we like hard-headed and rebellious people. This is the time right here to make your amends with the Most High. Make your amends. Stick to them. If you got to write them down, stick them on your pillow, whatever. Make those amends, and with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, you make sure you really focus on that. Concentrate on that, so that whatever that you're struggling with, whatever that you want to make amends with, is fulfilled, and that the Most High will give you that strength to overcome whatever it is that that you're going through and everything. So it's also a new moon, so that doesn't mean you can cook or anything because it's going to be a holy. It's going to be like a holy Shabbat. So remember the feast days always override the new moons, no matter what.
All right, now Israel. Also, right, I want y'all to understand the reason why. Hey, it's very important that on that day, right, the Day of Atonement, sundown Monday to sundown Tuesday, just like Brother Daniel said, hey man, put something in front of your kitchen to block you off. No food, no water, no drink, none of that stuff. You know why? Because Leviticus 23, right, verse 19, you're supposed to be afflicting your souls, right? Affliction is not something good. You're not supposed to feel comfortable, right? You're supposed to be uncomfortable. You're supposed to be afflicting your souls. That means you're supposed to be feeling uncomfortable, right? You're not feeling comfortable that this is happening, right? This is something that you're feeling uncomfortable about. Mm-hmm. So that's why you afflict your souls. No food, no drink. You know, don't even brush your teeth. I hate to say that. You're not going nowhere. Yeah, man. Yeah, you know, don't taste no toothpaste, no nothing. Nothing. Right? Sure, you can wash your face and all that stuff, but hey, you're supposed to be, praying and fasting, to the Lord. Ain't no none of that. You know, this is the whole. Man, back in the scripture, they didn't have toothpaste and toothbrush and all that stuff. They had ginger root. I think they were doing on their teeth or whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. Mint or sticks of spearmint. I forgot, but
they had it was like the roots and stuff that they
they were chewing to cleanse their teeth. You know what I mean? But we're not doing any of this. No. Right? On the Day of Atonement, you got to make it. This is serious, right? Just like Moses and you see how he was special when he messed up one time. Hey man, this is a day that we need to be afflicting ourselves, down in the dumps. Sorry that we've done all this wickedness year round to the Most High, who sent His only begotten Son, right, to cleanse our sins with His blood.
And remember, this is why we practice the righteous act, because we want to start preparing ourselves as our people are waking up, and as we're really trying to get our brothers, because really the men need to be leading out in this stuff. The women are the followers. The women are the supporters of the home. Men's are the leaders. They are the priests of the homes, and thus forth are the ones who lead out in these feast days to your families. So to the brothers who are married and everything, this is what you do. You get your family and you teach them about these feast days.
That's right.
And keep these righteous acts so that we can get better and better at them, and we can drill it in our mind and never forget them. One thing we do not want this to become is so to the point so redundant that we forget, and it just becomes a practice instead of instead of something that we can really apply to our lives. And this is what we do. And, when we do the Feast of Tabernacles, it's the same thing, and it should be a joyful moment, especially during the Feast of Tabernacles. But during this Day of Atonement is the day when you afflict your souls, and it is almost like a day of mourning because basically you're crying, we're crying out, and this is the day that the priest went into the holy place once a year to atone for all the sins of the people.
Get your souls ready for next week, y'all. I mean, if you're not used to fasting, go ahead and eat all you can. I hate to say that, but eat all you can, fill up in water, whatever it takes for you not to sin on the Day of Atonement, because that's a serious day. Okay. We got the Sukkot coming up. Feast of Tabernacles also that weekend, right? Which means that sundown, right after the Shabbat brings in the first day, right, of the Feast of Tabernacles, right? Because we are, saying, right after the Shabbat brings in the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles, which will be a holy convocation. In other words, another Shabbat.
Yep.
Right. So you need to on Thursday, right, or Friday morning before sundown, you need to get all the food that you need to get. Buy all the stuff that you need to get, so you don't have to buy anything on Saturday because you're not supposed to be buying nothing. Right. Yep. Get all your stuff ready on preparation day. Right. Preparation day is Friday morning until sundown. That's the preparation day. Yeah. Get all your stuff ready in that day, right? We got to plan ahead. This is not how brothers and sisters like to do, CP time. Now, this is not no last minute situation, no, nothing like that. Y'all folks get your stuff ready because next week is a big week.
Yep.
Next week is a big week for our people, right? So we need to get this stuff ready ahead of time, right? Get it ready ahead of time so you get ready for this feast days. Go ahead and get you a little tent or whatever you have, things of that nature. You need to get that set up, get ready to go, right? Because we're doing it big next week.
Yep. And I said before too, and if you're elderly, you know, and of course we're not expecting you to set up something by yourself outside, you know, where you're vulnerable and everything. But you know, set up something in wherever you live at. Set up something inside so that you can replicate what it was to live in a booth or a tent.
God. Well,
You know, so yeah. So that's
in the
it.
backyard, you know,
Spreading-
in the backyard. If you have an
spreading
apartment,
peace.
set it up on your couch. You know, what I'm saying, set it up on your porch. If you have an apartment,
Yep.
you know, if you have a house, set it up in your backyard. Like these days are important, right? These days are, you know, like for example, right? Just the Day of Atonement. If you're not afflicting your souls, right? These are one of these things that you cannot afford to miss.
Yeah.
He said that you're going to be cut off. It's going to be cut off from his people. So what do you think that means? You think if you, let's say, for example, you lived your whole life without celebrating the Day of Atonement, right? You think you're going to get the kingdom? Nope. It said you're going to be cut off from your people. Leviticus 23:29, very clear, right? For whosoever soul that shall be not afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people.
The whole point is obedience. Obedience is better than sacrifice, and it's better to obey than the sacrifice. So don't sacrifice these precious feast days just because you don't feel like keeping them, you know. And you know, it's a shame, you know, because our people break their necks trying to keep these holidays. They break their necks trying to keep that pagan holiday called Christmas and Thanksgiving and all these other holidays and everything. You know, well, we have our own. Look, y'all, we have our own feast that belongs to us. No one can take this from us.
But you know what? Our people are quick to celebrate 4th of July, be dressed up in flags and stars and stripes when you was getting your back beat in 1776.
Yep. And I'm praying, you know, and I'm praying by the grace of the Most High. Once I get my property right and everything, I'm gonna cut off a certain section, like a couple of acres maybe, and you know, just have some stuff out there, have some cabins out there and everything. So guess what? You know, some of y'all can come out and keep the feast with us. So you know, it's just it's a blessing. I'm telling you. And what a property is, it's like nothing but stars at night.
That's right.
Nothing but stars. It's like you can see the sky is so clear out there. So yeah.
All right, Israel.
So look, Israel. You know, again, you know, it's all about obedience. It's all about practicing these righteous acts. And you know, the word says, you know, keep his laws, commandments, statutes with all your hearts, mind, soul, and strength. And that's all we can do. We know that we're not a perfect people. We know that we're still under the curses. We know that we're in the land of our enemies. But we are still commanded to practice the righteous acts. I mean, I know that, you know, all the brothers got their different calendars and everything. You know what? But you know, the Most High is going to sort all out. You know,
that junk wrong, man. No, I hate to say it, man. The mother calendars is wrong.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I hate to say that. It's just it is what it is, right?
Yeah,
you know,
it is what it is.
You cannot find any calendars out there. You can't go by the scriptures and that don't line up. Lucky.
And nobody's gonna never be on the same page, and that's the problem. And this is one of the things that the Most High is going to hash out, because you know we still a scattered people. Our people still worshiping idols, and you know, we got people still talking about the heathens are going to be saved and all that stuff, and you know, it's a mess.
I'm not being boastful, but I'm gonna say if you're following other calendars, it's wrong, 100%, because you don't see them. They'll just put some dates on there and they don't show the work.
Yep.
You can go to our calendar and it lines up with the scripture. Every single precept, every single holy day that we have, it lines up with the scriptures exactly. And
so look, we're not bragging that our calendar is like, you know, hey, but you know, this is what I will say. You know, we took the liberty and the time to make sure that everything matches up with the scriptures, to go by the scriptures and what the scripture says. All right. You know, we show our work on here. We show the precepts. No other calendar is doing that. You know, they just throwing you something, and then they charge. You know what's so bad about it? Then they charge me for the calendars. Now that's crazy. You know, you just throwing something together out your behind and everything, but then you're gonna make a profit off of it as well too.
With different dates every year. You know what I mean? Got you
Yeah.
with some folly. Different dates every year, going off the saying that the new moon is the first day of the month, all kinds of heathenistic ways. If you look at these fake these frauds that have claimed our nationality, right? That's the same stuff that they go by. So you trying to tell me that, you know, the scriptures speak emphatically about not practicing the ways of the heathen.
Yeah.
Those folks don't know the first thing about how to keep the commandments, about any of that. Man, we know you go to Tel Aviv and they got the biggest homosexual parade right in the Holy Land. That's why the Most High says that what? Not even a stone is going to be, he's going to destroy everything. They got to go. Heathens have got to get destroyed. They got to get out of the land. They know that land ain't theirs.
Yeah.
You know, but they up in there anyway. Right?
So, you know, with that being said, Israel, you know, all our might, soul, and strength. That's the way it got to be. Because, and you know, we got to live, and like I always say, you got to work out your salvation with fear and trembling, because our life is nothing but a flicker. What is 70 years? You know, in 7 years from now, pretty much everybody in this on this chat, you know, is going to be long gone in the grave. And this is why we have to live our best life for the Most High. He says, occupy until I comes. It doesn't mean that you sit around and twiddle your thumbs and, oh, I'm just going to sit here until the Most High comes back. No, you gotta be productive. You got to be productive for your family, because guess what? You're going to have something to pass down to your next generation and teach them. And so we have the ability to teach these laws and teach these commandments to our children so that you can teach them. And this is why we go so hard to paint, because it's like the things that's going on with our people, especially the sisters, you know, raising up all these boys to be women and everything. That's just going to take a long time to reverse. You know, we start now, you know, and it's like, you know, they're bucking against the Most High so much to the point where it's like they don't want to change.
You gotta remember, Israel,
like,
right?
It's like we are but a vapor in this world. You're right. Nothing like that's all it is the vapor.
Remember Moses,
and people sitting around here talking about we want to get delivered without no obedience. How are you gonna just? What makes you think the Most High is going to deliver you, you know, without no obedience?
Y'all gotta remember, right? When we went over Moses earlier, right? It was serious, right? None of them made it. You know, the whole congregation had to get destroyed. Hey, they was wicked.
Yeah.
The Most High is not playing any games with our people. He doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? If he has to kill a billion just to get 3 righteous ones, as we've seen Sodom and Gomorrah, right? As we've seen with Noah and you know, 8 people survived the flood. Man, the Most High killed everybody except for 8 folks. And y'all think it's a game. Y'all can continue to sit here and think the Most High playing with you. You can continue to sit here and think you can just sleep around and just do whatever the hell you want. You can have babies out of wedlock and you can do all of this stuff. Go ahead and do it. The Most High, you will not make it to the kingdom.
Yep.
We're not, you know what I'm saying? We don't want that in the kingdom. Any man of any righteousness, man, you ain't making it. Right? You know what I'm saying? Any man of any righteousness, they don't want you to make it if you are being wicked, to carry that sickness, right, into the kingdom. This is why the Most High had to kill all of those folks. It took them 40 years to get there, right, on an 11-day journey. The Most High don't play no games. Time is infinite to him. He don't care how many of y'all he got to kill before he can get that precious grape.
Just remember this. Just remember this. The Most High does not need 44 million people. The Most High doesn't even need 100 people. The Most High just needs 8 people. 8 people. He can start. Because remember, the Bible says that the seed is never going to be destroyed. That means even if that seed gets down to like 8 people, the seed's still going to exist. You know what I'm saying? As long as the moon and the stars and the sun exists, so shall the seed of Israel be on the face of this earth. So don't get it twisted. Don't think that just because the Most High has never been about numbers. Never been about numbers. And see, that's when we get confused, because we always think about numbers all the time. Well, look at all these folks waking up. Well, who's really waking up?
I don't care about that.
So what does it mean to wake up? You know, you know,
Just think about the beginning in Genesis.
I'm gonna tell you how slim it is. Even me and brother Aton, look, just because we're mores and everything, and we're teaching you this word and going over these precepts, doesn't mean that we could fall off. We can go off.
Come, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I pray every day. I'll make it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
Just like anybody else. But I'll put it this way. My mindset is this. My mindset is, for me and my house, I'm going to serve the Most High, no matter what. And that's the way we got to be. We got to have that Joshua spirit.
And speaking about numbers, right? Remember, in the beginning, God only had a plan to make Adam.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, I don't want Adam lonely, so I'll make somebody else. But that wasn't the original. That wasn't the original. God don't care about numbers.
No.
He does not care about numbers. Now, like I said, 8 people only made it through the flood out of how many billions? Maybe trillions even. Probably died in the old days. You don't know.
In the book of in the book of Job said, if they be born for the sword, because out of wickedness, because a lot of people is just and that's why you look at, for example, you look at all these mama babies that these women are pushing out and everything, and then look where it's getting them. They end up in the streets and gangs and all kinds of stuff. But that's the result of harlotry. And you sent me a video, something of some dude, some boy tearing up somebody's house, tearing up their mother's house or something like that. This is the stuff that comes back to bite people.
I think I can. I think I can pull that up real quick. You want to pull that up before we?
Yeah, sure. Let's pull that up right quick. But it was a video. I think, I don't know if it was somebody sent it to you or something like that. But
yeah, that's brother Adam, man. He already got it.
Okay, yeah, he sent that. So yeah, man, it was dude tore the house up. Like, I don't know. Did they ever say what it was that
it was his teenage son, saying this sister, this Israelite woman, she had a teenage son. Obviously, she didn't submit to the man, so she is a single mother, and she can't control him. He decided just to tear up the whole damn house. Let me see if I can add that real quick.
This is the problem I'm talking about. So when you want to be an adulteress out there, and you want to have babies by different dudes and stuff, see, them kids may seem cute when they're little, but when they get older, they're gonna terrorize your ass. Hey, look, your kids gonna be your worst enemies.
Let me see.
And that's gonna
Join PCTechForum.net is a new site. It's a way of discussing everything related to tech news. They'll be discussing the latest process. Roll that clip.
Here. All right, hold up.
Her home. Now, the original son, and here is shocking for a lot of people to see. We had this mom that have a son, and he literally destroyed her home. Now, the original post that said he was 12 years old and he took a phone, well, that came out not to be true. That's not really what happened. But if you see the video, like I said, if you've never seen it, let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Here.
This is with a sledgehammer or something.
Hold on. You know what I saw right there? Hold on. Slock, yeah, I want to go back down. I want to show y'all something. I just noticed this in the picture. Boom, right there, right? You see that graven image on the wall, right? So of course he supposedly goes to church or whatnot, right? They say that they love God with their mouth, but not in action, right?
Hey, notice he destroyed everything else. He didn't destroy that one though.
Nah. That's crazy, right? Look at that. Look at them curtains. That's effeminate. Got that man taking a. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you see what I'm saying? Hey, look at that stuff, man. That's effeminate. That's effeminate right there. Hold up. Why you have this right here? Right? You got a man in the home with you. You have a man. You have a son in the home with you, but you got girly. This is wicked. If you had a man, if this woman had been married, this would not been in the house. If this woman had a father to see over the son, you think this son would be able to do all this destruction in the home? Absolutely not. You have a woman does not have any control over the son once he gets to an age where you know what I'm saying, he could beat you up. I hate to say it like that, but this is why he tried that. He has no respect. A son is not going to try a father like that because he knows if he does, he's going to get his ass whooped. He's going to get knocked out, slammed on his neck, anything of that nature right there. This is because he knows that he is strong. This is why women cannot raise a man. All this toxic feminism that we got going on, these sisters thinking that they can, I don't need no man. Oh, it looks like you do need a man.
Take a baby bag.
Yeah, we don't have to play the whole thing because it brings some things out. But just wanted to show you though that the whole mentality of our people, So this dude, whatever the problem he had, through a temper tantrum for whatever reasons. But just to show you, this is the result that you're going to get when things are out of order. When things are out of order of the Most High, this is what you're going to have. Now you think about these boys being raised up. They get to a certain age. Now you got like three children, 4 children with different daddies and stuff. Yeah, you can control. You can kind of handle them because they're little kids. But then when they grow up to be teenagers, that's when it's going to get real. That's when it's going to get real. And you know how many women single women that I've dealt with, had to talk to because their kids were out of order and everything. It's because that, to me, it's like that's the chickens coming home to roost because that's the result of your actions.
Now, I'm going to tell you, just like I'm going to tell this sister here, because this sister, I like this sister, her man. She's cool. She comes to every lesson. But I promise you, sister, this is the wrong mentality right here, right? That if you have a son that older, he will whoop you upside down. And the only time to be calling 911 is to come pick you up. Don't try nothing like this. Remember, what I'm saying? There is a great difference between a man and a woman, right? Mm-hmm. There's a great difference in strength and all of that. Right.
Yeah, so please don't try that. Remember, she said in the video too that the boy is, he's what, 275 pounds, 6 feet?
275 pounds, 6 foot something.
She there was nothing that she can do anyway because he would have overpowered her.
Don't try that.
And this is the result of if a man was in the house that wouldn't have happened. And this is why the Most High had a perfect system set up with marriage when the man was real. You didn't play that stuff back in the day.
No, ma'am. Don't agree with this, sis. Nisi D, don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? What you're doing, you're promoting masculine energy. That's not for you. You're not the disciplinary. That's why it says in the scriptures, the father gives the son the rod, right?
Yep. He's
the one that chastises the son. Y'all just sit back. Because if the son got mad enough, right, y'all cannot beat him up.
Yeah.
If he wants to not hold back his strength, he will whoop you upside down. And there's nothing you can do about it.
And this is why when women try to discipline their children without the fathers present, it causes chaos. And when they get older, guess what? That stuff turns on. And that's the whole point we're bringing out, y'all. All the stuff that you see that's happening is a result of Israel's harlotry. It's a result of the wickedness. And this is what the Most High is going to allow. He's going to allow.
She had a husband that would not happen. This is why it is important to marry before you carry, right? This is important to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. This is why the Most High has an order set up to keep these things from happening.
Yeah.
To keep your sisters from safe because you have a covering. You have somebody protecting you. Hey, man, if one of your children get out of line, hey, call your husband up to handle it. We're gonna go home and whoop him upside down.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? It's so you know what I mean. It's a level. Well, it's not even a level playing field. The father, the strength, a man's strength. Then you got the little son, right? And then you know say it's not going to happen, right? Yeah. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? Thank God. But see, these days, right? I mean, like, look at our little boy. You know, say, look at our kid was. Imagine if his mother been home and he decided to cut up. You see how that boy, that boy had broke the you know, what I'm saying, the kitchen, you know, what I'm saying, the marble on the kitchen table. That's stone or wood. He had broke that off, probably with pure power, right? Probably with pure power. So just imagine what he would do to you if you tried to step in.
Yep.
Right. So this is why it's important to marry before you carry.
Yep. And you know, and that's a whole nother issue because you know, and we're gonna have to bring that on another lesson. But you know, the women that are divorcing men for stupid reasons, this stuff's getting out of hand, y'all.
John.
It's just getting well. I talk to so many brothers, but the women always, majority of the times, the woman is always the one filing for divorce. Always. It's sad, but I'm not going to even get on that soapbox right now because, you know. But I see nobody had any questions, so we're gonna get ready. So I'm gonna let you all enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Like this door up.
Sis, you gotta lose that spirit now. The majority of men can have. We're not talking about, you know, the small, you know, weakling. We're talking about the majority of men can whoop their sons. That's just what it is. Right?
You know what? I never met a brother that couldn't handle his own son. I never. If a man can't handle his son, something's wrong with that. Because I've never ever seen a man firsthand that could not handle his son.
Well, sis, I want you to understand that's just the power of a man. Like, you sisters don't understand. Like when your husband or your sons play with you, they're holding back tremendously. I'll tell you. Like when I was a child, right, 10, 11, I used to get spankings from my mom. I literally put spit on my eyes to fake like I was crying because it didn't hurt. My mom couldn't hurt me.
Yeah,
it didn't hurt. I was deathly afraid of my father when he got home from work because he would beat my ass and it'll hurt. You understand? So I don't want you to associate that with just that's just the strength that men have. They hold back a lot, right? That's just the strength that a man have. You have no idea the strength that a man has. I think it's what 7 or 8 times the grip strength a man has in their hands than they do of a woman. He can just literally wrap his hands around your neck and choke you to death. Right? So you got to understand. Men are a totally different animal. That's why the Most High has it set up how He has it set up. Right? The fathers are over the women and the children. Why? Because they hold the most power and the ability to hold the rod of correction, right? To make sure that these folks continue in the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh. All right, that's it for me.
Well, look, Israel, we pray that you were edified and everything. And like I said, just go back over the lesson. If you have anything.
John, I'm good.
Yep. And so we're going to say Shabbat Shalom and stay strong, Israel. All right. And again, wish you well on the feast. Put that aside and everything and put that forward, put that on the first and foremost for the Day of Atonement, because that's going to be a big day for Israel. And let us, during that time, let us not only pray for the forgiveness of our sins, but the sins of our forefathers. And then also let's pray for the destruction of our enemies as well too.
That's right.
So we can get that in. So, all right, Israel. Say unless you got something, brother.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
All right,
Israel.
Say Shabbat Shalom, Israel.
Shabbat Shalom.
Stay strong. Don't give up. Keep the faith.
See y'all next Shabbat, right? And y'all get ready for that. Get ready to fast. So we'll be talking to y'all during that time next week. Same time, same channel.
Yep.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.